Yo, Garbles, congrats for being first. I didn't think I'd live to see the day. How's it going? How y'all doing? You all excited for some detective work that we're doing today? In the city of Innsmouth, that is. Does any one of you even know the city of Innsmouth? Does anybody know Lovecraft anymore? But yeah, I'm low-key excited. I hope this is gonna be fun. I think I am afraid this is one of them games where I need to read a lot compared to the other games where I don't really need to read anything at all, ever. I'm not even sure if I can read. But I guess we'll find out. I guess we will find out today. Yo. It is so early on. You wanna kill my stream already, Andrea? Good to see you, friend. Welcome, welcome. Are we still good? Is it still okay? Yeah, I think that's a good sign. I think we survived the disco cats. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. But yeah, it's good to have you all here. Let me just sip a bit more tea. And let's see here. What do we have in the case of Innsmouthians? Black screen, praise the black screen. Game. Yes, there we go. Hey, little Saurus, hi. Good to see you here, friends. Welcome, welcome. You all excited to do this? You all... It amuses you anyways? Yeah, I guess. Disco cats are pretty cool, that is true. Yeah, are you all ready to see what the case of Innsmouth actually is? Let's see here. What do we have? We are fans of the strange world of Innsmouth, but we recognize the problematic belief of H.P. Lovecraft. This game has been produced by a group of people who believe in inclusion and equality. Robot Pumpkin Games and Assemble Entertainments. The game sound okay. Pretty loud for me, but it looks not so loud in OBS. How's game sound? Is that all fine? Your progress in the story will be saved at the end of each chapter. There are 35 chapters in total. At the end of a chapter, the screen fades to black, and the green save icon appears at the bottom right of the screen. We recommend you always end the game after such a save point to make sure none of your progress is lost. It's step 1. That's the save icon. Boston, 21st of September. The last rays of sunshine filter through the blinds of your empty office. The pathetic stench of whiskey, cold cigarettes, smoke, and canned ravioli fills the air. The screeching tires and constant beeping of car horns out there on the street will tell you that it's gone 8 p.m. People are on their way home, finishing their day. You should join them. I think I'm still gonna get some work done. Your day was long and frustrating. You're running out of ideas on how to handle the calls of people who want money from you. A cold shiver runs down your spine as you flick through a pile of unpaid bills. On the top of the pile is a reminder from your landlady. You're 2 months behind on the rent. The next one is a 3-figure invoice from a game company for an in-app purchases. I like you cause you got that song that I need in my life. So gimme, just got that. Like you cause you got that song that I need. Welcome, welcome, Mr. Pasta Imposter. How are you doing? Good to see you here, friend. Fire? What? Yeah, no, that's hard. That's hard. But yeah, we're playing the Innsmouth Case today. I gotta read a lot. Energy guess. Yeah, we're not there yet. We're not at the energy guess yet. But I like the spirit, I guess. I like the vigor. Is that how that you know what I mean? I like the enthusiasm. That's the word that I was looking for. I like the enthusiasm there. You like the flesh. Yes. Right, the next one is a 3-figure invoice from a games company for in-app purchases. You tried to claim them as business expense in your last investigation, but somehow your client refused to pay. Then there's a second reminder from your internet provider threatening to cut off your connection. You might take legal action, because without the internet, you can't work. Or live. I do wonder how that feels like. You really need more in-app purchases. You really need a cigarette. You're toying with the idea of a cigarette when you catch a glimpse of the unpaid bill from your doctor. Maybe you don't need a smoke after all. You breathe a deep sigh. It may not have been a successful day, but at least it's over. You're looking forward to a classic Friday night, watching old mystery series at home, in sweatpants, and getting drunk on cheap booze. Since the early afternoon, you have been starting on the foreboding bottle of liquor at the other end of the room. Up until now, a vague sense of professionalism has kept you from drinking yourself into oblivion. Now, nothing stands in the way. Suddenly, you hear someone at the door. Who that be? The door slowly cracks open with a timid crack. The unknown guest pauses. Then, in a breathy and melodic tone, you hear a woman utter, "Hello?" Your insides cramp. You suddenly realize that you haven't cleaned your office at all this year. Oh no. You quickly try to clean up. Wait a minute! Wait! You shout in a pitch that is at least 2 octaves higher than intended. There's no time to pick up all the crumpled pieces of paper on the floor. You gaze across the total mess on your desk. A weird, undefinable crust has formed on the wood. You never noticed that before. You try to hide it by putting some unpaid bills over them. They get stuck immediately. Nice. I do really want to think about what the crusted, what was that? The undefinable crust is that formed there. What's the date? This is important. What do you mean? Is it January or December? What? What do you mean? How would I know? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably around June, July, maybe. It's November 11th. Maybe. Maybe we'll find out. By the light of the desk lamp, you now see more than a silhouette. A breathtaking woman lights up your office. No doubt, older than 40, maybe even 50. Hard to say. Clad in black, a skin-tight dress, culminating in a decolleté that seems to defy the laws of gravity. A smoky eyeshadow, as dark as algae, washed ashore. Blonde, coiffed, wavy hair under a dark beret. The faint light of the setting sun catches in the strand of her hair, and you wonder how many heads this woman must have turned during her prime. She's completely different from usual customers. Nervous bankers with sweat stains under their armpits, convinced their wives have something going with the mailman. Every move she makes is calculated grace. Smooth as an eel, she walks toward you and sits down on the corner of your desk. Determined, she walks towards you and sits down on the corner of your desk. Which is a little bold. Without asking you first. As a professional, you're not giving anything away. She seems to want to play the seductive damsel in distress. The quiet, amused voice of your subconscious is pleased that a stranger may be sharing your enthusiasm for film noir cliches. It's cool. r/men writing women. Yeah, I mean, this is an old school, what's it called, detective noir kind of story, so I think that's very fitting. But yeah, those are mostly written by men, that is also true. The penetrator would blush. Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit. I would smirk at least if that happens, I think. A far louder voice is surprised that this woman seems to think that a sexy pose and revealing clothes could win you over. And both voices agree that they don't like being manipulated. You don't think that a stranger perched on your table is trying to recover from a hard-working day as a lingerie model, and therefore you see no logical reason for her behavior. When she begins to speak, her voice is smoky and full of promise. Oh, okay, girl, I need a woman voice. My name is Dahlia Marsh. My name is Dahlia Marsh. I'm looking for a private investigator. I was told you are one of the best. She extends her hands. You've come to the right place, lady. You've come to the right place, lady. What can I do for you? You sit back in your chair and fold your hands over your stomach. The woman seems a little irritated that her provocative behavior seems to have no effect on you. Fuck Andrea. She moves from the edge of the desk and sits down on the chair opposite of you. Yes. She clears her throat. As she continues to speak, the smoky seductiveness creeps back into her voice. My name is Dahlia. I need help. I need some more details, I'm afraid. It's about my daughter, Tabitha. She has disappeared. You're pulling out paper and pencil. This is gonna be a walk in the park. A walk in the kidnapped kids park. When did you last see her, and where? The woman puts on a fake smile. We live in Innsmouth. It's a small port town, north of Arkham. You frown. This is more helpless than smoky and seductive. Yeah, that's the best I can do, I'm afraid. You frown. This is a bit vague. What was your child doing when you last saw her? What hobbies does she have? Oh, you know, kid stuff. They just run around and, play with their yo-yos, that sort of thing. Dahlia nervously combs her hands through her hair. Yo-yos? Hold on. Yo-yos. Ring ring. Can you hear that? It's the 90s calling and they want their outdated toys back. Dahlia blushes. Normally you would find this quite attractive. But the case of a missing girl beckons, and you're utterly unconvinced by the way this woman pretends to be a mother. She remains silent. What's going on here? This is kind of sus. Something's fishy here. You have a nose for this sort of thing. That's why you became a private investigator. Or, to be more precise, that's why you took an online detective course that, for a non-off fee, provided the necessary qualifications. It's time to take your visitor to task. You look at her closely. Has your daughter really disappeared? You simply can't help question her further. The story simply doesn't wash, although it's exactly what your instructor warned you about. You're sticking to your principles. Dahlia's mouth becomes even more pinched. Something you didn't think possible. But yeah, I don't know how to women voice. I resent this insolence. Of course she's disappeared. What do you take me for? Don't think that was better. You stare at one another. The only sound in the room is the roar of the rush hour traffic creeping in through the window. Dahlia's face remains motionless. I see. And you have neither evidence nor arguments to back up your suspicion. She still seems angry, but she also seems desperate and dependent on your services. It's your choice. I need a bit more intel in here. Dahlia nervously combs her hands through her hair. Does your daughter have any friends? Does your daughter have any friends she might be staying with? Classmates, sports club members, anything like that? Dahlia silently shakes her head. Very strange. You're about to ask if the girl at least had imaginary friends, but you hold back. Dahlia nervously combs her hands through her hair. What about Tabitha's father? Are you separated? Often children reappear with family members. Dahlia smiles sadly. My little one can't swim well enough for that yet. Your pen remains on the same spot on the notepad. What was that supposed to mean? What is it supposed to mean? That's a good question. Speaking of swimming, there's a wild tier 2 guy in chat, guys. A wild tier 2 guy. It's a turtle. Or a tortoise. I think it's a turtle. The aquatic one. I just let her talk, I guess. Dahlia turns a gaze away from you and looks longingly out the window. Her father was a fisherman, like most in the village. A few years ago, he went out to sea, but never returned. His boat was washed ashore weeks later. His colleagues told me that he had finally followed the call of the waves. Or maybe the call of Cthulhu. Who knows? You keep quiet for a moment. Deceased family members are always a sensitive subject. My sincere condolences. She seems calm. Oh, somehow I always knew that moment would come. I think my husband is in a better place now, and at some point, I'll join him. You take a closer look at Dahlia's outfits. Judging by her behavior and clothes, you never would have taken her to be a fisherman's wife. You inquire about her financial situation. I need the monies. Forgive me for asking, but what do you do for a living? Dahlia's jaw tenses. I work in Innsmouth's tourism department. Oh god, no. If any one of you was here when we were playing Gibbous, a Cthulhu adventure, you don't want to really have anything to do with the Innsmouth tourists department. That's not a good job to have, the Innsmouth tourist department. Oh hey, Ryu, hi! How are you doing, friends? Good to see you here. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing, friends? How art thou singeth? We're playing the Innsmouth Case today, which is supposed to be a somewhat spoopy game. Yeah, it is pronounced Innsmouth, though. I mean, it depends. Depends who you ask, but mostly it's pronounced Innsmouth. Thanks for that shout-out. Guys, if you're not already following Ryu, highly recommend doing so. Plays really fun games, sometimes multiplayer games. Maybe he lets you play with him games. Andrea! But yeah, go check out Ryu. Highly recommend. Why though? Because that's a very British thing, and Lovecraft was a very British loving man. So he had a lot of them weird them weird place names that where you say them different than you spell them. Yeah, thanks for that mimic you sound, Little Saurus. Highly appreciate it. We need better voice acting. Yeah, I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best, Ryu. But if you would like, we can hop on a Discord call and you can take over the female parts for me if you. I mean, you can be my female parts if you like, Ryu. Yeah. What do we have here? Why do you ask? For a widowed single mom, you're surprisingly well dressed. You don't seem like someone who is handing out holiday brochures. You're sick at the moment, you will sound like a slime. Well, maybe that's what she sounds like. We can maybe. Do you want to play the? Do you want to voice act the fish people that might be coming in later? Those are supposed to sound a bit slimy. She's surprisingly well dressed, I guess. For a fisherman's widow and single mom, you're surprisingly well dressed. Either the tourism industry is more lucrative than I thought, or your husband was quite well insured. You take a theatrical break. Or is there another explanation? Dahlia smiles uncertainly. My family is wealthy. Old money and some kind of local nobility. I don't understand what this question has to do with my missing daughter. There's a combative glint in her eyes. Yes, this one. It's none of my business where you get your money from. But if the source is rather unorthodox, it could be related to your daughter's disappearance. You peer over your desk to take her in a little better. Your face is serious and impenetrable, but inside your head, your inner Humphrey Bogart nerd feels incredibly cool. Oh boy. Dahlia's smile remains unchanged, but one of her eyelids has started twitching. Nervousness, perhaps? Or do your questions make her angry? No, I have nothing to do with any illegal business. You lean back. Dahlia nervously combs through her hair again. What does your daughter look like? She's only 8, and the sweetest girl you can imagine. She's been missing without a trace since last week. None of her schoolmates have seen her, and no one knows where she might have gone. She hands you a photo. Look, this is my little munchkin. Oh boy, what is this? know, right? This looks horrifying. Good heavens. Is this supposed to be a joke? Is that really the face of a child? Or a shoddy photo edit? Are you being filmed as part of a reality TV show? A bit of stomach acid and the last bite of lunch slowly but surely make their way up into the back of your mouth. You swallow it. With narrow eyes, you swallow the bile and involuntarily pull a face. Dahlia continues to look at you hopefully. She obviously didn't notice your little mishap. It was close, and could have been unpleasant. I'm so desperate. Her eyes lock with yours. I guess I just ask more questions about the case. I have no further questions. You mumble, more to yourself than to her. Dahlia stretches her neck imperceptibly. Is that how you say that word? I think it's imperceptibly. Dahlia stretches her neck imperceptibly. No doubt she would like to take a look at your notebook. Your pen hovers over the notes you've taken. Missing daughter. Dodgy lady. That's it. You've worked with less. Are you going to take the case or not? Yeah, I guess we're doing this. If it's English, I can say it however I want. Okay, cool. Oh, is it because of the Innsmouth situation? Yeah, I don't know. Location names are weird sometimes. I'm just glad it doesn't take place in that one place in Wales where nobody can say its name properly. That's that place. But yeah, it is what it is. You nod. A missing persons case. Nothing unusual. The conventional little girl runs away from home after reading her first romance novel. Usually they hide at the edge of the forest or in a library. Should be pretty straightforward. Before you can say anything, she drops a photo of the child and a roll of bills on your desk. For your expenses. You nod slowly, trying not to drool down the front of your shirt. You haven't seen this much money in ages. You don't have much time to prepare. A quick search reveals that only one bus goes to Innsmouth, and only once a day. This is just like in the book, The Shadow over Innsmouth. A pattern emerges in your research. The few news items related to this little coastal town are all about missing persons. In addition, you find some rather old-fashioned articles that praise the coastal town as a secret holiday destination. The best fish, untouched beach promenade, authentic fishing people are the reoccurring buzzwords. Very authentic, those fish people, I mean fishing people. Dahlia has given out the address at which you're supposed to drop off her daughters as soon as you find her. She also wrote down her phone number on the child's photo. You take another look at the picture before you pack your things. Oh boy. The next morning you travel by bus. Of course we travel by bus. That's how it was in the story. Oh, it's September. It's the 22nd of September now. So yeah, it's been quite a while that that office wasn't cleaned. Must be a very dirty office, that office. The journey begins at a bus station. There's supposed to be a bus line that departs from here to Innsmouth. Buses, you think to yourself, are not only an environmentally friendly means of transportation, they're also easy on your wallet. Sadly, the departure boards aren't of much help. New York, Maine, Rhode Island, no trace of Innsmouth as a destination. You wander around for a while until you notice a cleaner eating a sandwich on the side of one of the vending machines. What do these dice do here? Can I roll these dice? No. Okay. You look around. I think I want to talk to that cleaner. Excuse me, where can I find the bus to Inns? Without letting go of his sandwich. The cleaner points to an abandoned counter in the dingiest corner that a public bus station could be capable of. The man gives you a nod, indicating that anything that can be said has indeed been said. You find that the counter is elaborately decorated with cobwebs. It's a bit early for Halloween preparations, but at least someone's made an effort. At the moment, nobody seems to be there. You press your face against the plastic window to peer into the room behind. Hello? Hello, is anyone there? I have to go to Innsmouth. No one there. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a bus ticket appears on the counter. Might the trip be free? Should you leave a payment? Let's give him a bug. You're a staunch defender of the law. It goes without saying that you pay. You put a few coins in the bowl underneath the foggy glass window. Hopefully, they won't be stolen by the next passenger. Even if someone were sitting behind the counter, you wouldn't be able to see him. It's just too dark. You're distracted for a few seconds, and suddenly there's some change on the counter. What's that in amongst the coins? A small golden fishing hook. How strange. Where's the bus hiding? In between the polished greyhounds and travelers strowing their luggage, saying goodbye and dropping tiredly into their seats, is a kind of dumpster. A dumpster with windows and wheels? No, it's actually a bus. It's a bit on the rusty side, and even from a distance you sense the strange smell it emits. Is that sulfur? Oh hey, there's another underwater friend. There's a wild jellicent in chat, guys. I kinda wanna catch that jellicent. Exclamation mark, pokey catch if you wanna catch that pokey. You're not convinced how this thing is supposed to drive. In its vicinity, everything is noticeably quieter than at the other bus stops. The people getting on show no signs of emotion. Nobody's trying to jump the queue here. Instead, the passengers move past the bus driver at the uniform speed, one after the other, shuffling up the creaking steps. Each two-seater bench is occupied by individuals, as if they want to make sure not to come into contact with their fellow passengers. The sign clearly says Innsmouth. No departure times. No stopovers. Just Innsmouth. Undecided, you're standing on the stairs of the bus. I'm just gonna talk to the driver. Hello there! You stop. The passengers behind you wait patiently. It's impossible to make eye contact with the driver. He stares rigidly at the steering wheel. After all, it seems to be a focused driver. Excuse me, sir? No reaction. You look over your shoulder, and still the people in the line behind you remain calm. Undecided, you're standing on the steps. I want to show him my ticket then. You hand the driver the ticket. No reaction. At least you can't make out a reaction. The lighting is poor, and the shadow of his dusty driver's cap covers almost his entire face. You notice something strange in his neck. but you can't quite make out what it might be. You're standing in the door, waiting for an okay, a nod, anything. The sulfur odor has increased. A queue has formed behind you, but no one is pushing or complaining. The people wait quietly and patiently. I guess I'll just keep walking. Shuffle sideways through the center aisle. You don't remember the bus looking this long from the outside. You're surrounded by shabby two-seater benches, and some are already occupied. One traveler per row. The last bench is free. Looks like the upholstery is torn on some places. The upholstery is torn in some places. Hold on. Let me read this again. The last bench is free. Looks like the upholstery is torn in some places, though. Or has it been slit open? Questions, questions. You can see springs with sharp wire edges on some sticky liquid seems to have leaked onto the floor. What is this with sticky liquid? Why is sticky liquid everywhere? What is this? Why didn't you just sit down in one of the 3 rows? Here in the back, almost everything is occupied. Most of the passengers seem to have purposely sat down in the aisle seats, blocking off the window seats. Maybe it is an opportunity to get a little closer to the common Innsmouth visitor. Ah. It's Spider-Man. That sticky web fluid. Well, nobody mentioned the color of the fluid yet. So. You gaze across the rows of seats. I'm gonna sit down with someone. I'm gonna be a nice guy. I'm heading out to meet new people. I'm gonna sit next to somebody. As a nonconformist, you join one of the passengers in the double seat. Since only one man was so considerate as to sit at the window, your options are limited anyway. As far as you can tell, the man is a haggard figure, with barely any luggage. The hood of the grey jumper pulled far onto his face. The man looks out into the streets, as if something were very important is happening there that requires his attention. Is the seat taken? You ask politely. He turns his head and gives you a brief once-over. Without saying any words, he turns away again. Oh, that's a nice hoodie. I think. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit down. Alright, that wasn't a no either. You sit down and regret it instantly. The smell of sulfur is now overpowered by something else. Something that smells like it's been in the sun for too long. You're trying to catch a glimpse of what's under the hoodie. Does this person have a genetic defect? Is he malnourished? You're not sure exactly what the problem might be, but you're trying to stay professional. Look at those hands. He's got very, very webby hands. Maybe it is Spider-Man after all. You awkwardly stare at the headrest of the person in front of you. I'm gonna be a nice guy. I'm gonna meet new people here. I'm gonna make new friends. I'm gonna talk to that stranger next to me. This is a chance to get some inside information. Talk about veganism. Look how thin. I know, right? Very, very scraggy figure that is. He's almost a Slender Man. He is. And we're gonna play the tourist, I guess. Oh, hi. You clear your throat before you speak. Twitching and with a slight tremor, the man turns to you. Excuse me, I'm visiting Innsmouth for the first time. Do you happen to come from here? A twitch is all you get. Maybe you should get right to the point. That doesn't look healthy what you're doing, friend. Also, your like your face is not always entirely connected with your head, it feels like. Can you stop doing that? That's awkward. It's hard to tell if you're boring him. Can you? Is there anything? Does Innsmouth have any sights? Your neighbor stares into the middle distance. Is he thinking? Is the silence between the two of you is hardly bearable? The silence between the two of you is hardly bearable. Beach. He finally stutters. Your eyes meet again. Hey, old town! He adds. Well, that could have gone worse. The small talk has been rulingly slow. You decide to let it go. The ride is taken forever. The bus leaves the country road and turns off at a wooden sign that says Innsmouth in red, flaky letters. The journey continues rather bumpily along a narrow, dirty road littered with numerous potholes. In the distance, some houses are already visible. Seagulls circling the roof of the outermost edge of the city. Slowly, all passengers take their bags out from under the seats and get ready. Curious, you look through the side window. That's odd. The bus passes by a huge... what is this? A scrapyard? Parking lot? Why would something like this be here, right outside the city? You pass another wooden sign, whose half-peeled writing advertises the Innsmouth Park and Ride area. A lot of cars look like they've been sitting here for years. Sand covers some of the bonnets and windscreens. The front door of the bus opens with a squeak, and you join the monotonous line of locals stepping out of the bus as if in a daze. Almost walking in step, you all get closer to the exit. As you walk down the steps, you have to protect your eyes from the sunlight. Turns out the windows of the bus were tinted. The other passengers shuffle off. Okay, so I guess we're in Innsmouth now. Finally, Innsmouth. You examine your surroundings while you stretch your legs, trying to unwind from the stressful journey. No artist could have adequately... What? No artist could have adequately captured the serenity and beauty of this place. A clear blue sky lights up the town square, which is paved with bright limestones and surrounded by neo-colonial buildings reminiscent of 19th century New England. A fresh sea breeze, crying seagulls, and locals going about their business. In the center of the square, water trickles from a fountain. As you stretch your limbs and breathe in the clean air, you're suddenly startled by the water feature right in front of you. The fountain is an enormous fish-like brass creature. An open jawlines with shark-like fangs spouts brackish water down its massive, inhumanly contorted body. As if that wasn't enough, there appear to be human bodies squirming underneath its massive claws. Their faces are as contorted as yours is right now. How long have you been standing here? Eyes wide open in shock, you feel utterly paralyzed. Start to scan the town square and notice more and more disturbing details. On every corner, you spot ornamental statues and reliefs of fish. But these are not your classic harmless kind of fish. These are pagan symbols and grimaces of supernatural creatures from the darkest crevices of the deep sea. In surrounding houses, you can see faces pressed against the window. All the locals appear to be watching you. You suddenly start to think that the cries of the seagulls sound particularly human-like. They sound like humans crying out in pain. What happened to the idyllic scene from a few moments ago? Good question. What happened here? Oh, hi. Welcome to Innsmouth. Who that be? Oh, hi.
Welcome to Innsmouth. How nice of you to visit.
A small, elderly woman waves at you from afar. She beams at you as if you were her long-lost grandchild. She seems very different to the rest... What? She seems very different to the boars you've met so far on the bus into town. Her squealing shakes you out of your nightmarish panic.
It's good to have you here. I've noticed you're very taken by your local fountain. It was built in 1704 by Abdul Necrotis, favorite artist and friend of Charles Dexter Tillinghast, the founder of Innsmouth. The central figure was a present, and it was supposed to commemorate their travels together to Cairo. You can clearly see the Egyptian influence in Necrotis' work. Here and here.
She points widely in every direction.
And here. But I'm sure you've already noticed this yourself. You look like someone who knows this way around art.
She says with a wide smile. You're still in shock. She beams at you. Who the hell are you? Haven't oh, that's her again.
Oh, haven't I introduced myself? I'm ever so sorry.
In front of you now stands a small, plump person in a tasteless costume. Your rudeness doesn't seem to curb her enthusiasm in the slightest.
My name is Muriel Pooping Place. My name is Muriel Pooping Place. I'm the director of the Parks Commission, Chief Tourism Officer, and head of the Welcoming Committee. Ta-da!
Miss Pooping Place. So, who pooped? Okay. I find that way more funny than would be necessary. Okay then, Miss Pooping Place, what can you tell me about this place? Behind Muriel, there's a ramshackle wooden information stand lovingly decorated with balloons. A colorful painted sign reads, "Welcome to Innsmouth." Muriel tippy-toes over to her information stand and picks up a whole load of flyers and leaflets from the rickety cases. From the rickety display cases. She looks down at all the paper in her arms and briefly shrieks with laughter.
Ah, my goodness! Why don't you take the city map to begin with?
Useful. Take the map and put it into your coat pocket.
Would you like to find more about our wonderful town, which has been awarded the East Coast Stunning Town Award for several years in a row?
And would you? I'm actually looking for someone.
Here I am!
The small, plump woman starts giggling.
Innsmouth welcomes you warmly. So you're looking for someone? It's not that uncommon for two lonely hearts to find one another in this romantic place.
Muriel winks at you.
Oh boy.
You sent me photos? Yeah, I'm gonna look at them later. And it's just whenever I tap out of the game, the music cuts out, and that's kind of annoying. So, but thanks, little Saurus. I'm gonna look at those later. You see, I'm looking for this girl.
It's always about a girl, isn't it?
Tabitha Marsh. 8 years old. Her mother asked me to take on the case. You take out the photo of Muriel immediately. You take out the photo and Muriel immediately rips it out of your hand.
Oh, what a cutie. But I'm sorry to say, I've not heard anything about missing girls. How awful. That sort of thing doesn't happen in Innsmouth. Perhaps you can have a look around the beach or on the playground. There are a lot of kids around there, but I'm sure that's where the little one will be.
Hey, Victory, thanks for the lurk. Yeah, I only have eyes for Muriel at the moment, I'm sorry. With an unnaturally wide grin, she hands you back the photo, turns around quickly, and makes her way over to accost another tourist family. You head further into town, along the cobbled roads in the direction of the coast. Not long ago, the sun was bright in the sky, but already the first waft of mists are creeping into the streets. The air feels thicker, and the sun can no longer penetrate the fog. Time to think about where you want to go. You slow down. You lean your briefcase against the wall and start pacing up and down the quiet alleyway. You've got an important choice to make right now. The city center's in the north. Even from afar, you can see the outline of the old and ornately decorated. It's not an oriental decoration, it's an ornate decoration. Even from afar, you can see the outlines of the old and ornately decorated building in the main town square. Here you should find the police station, the main shopping street, and, of course, the town hall. As a coastal town, Innsmouth also has a harbor. Is that so? Interesting. From your research, you found out that this is a bustling area with a dreamy beach. You expect there to be mostly tourists. According to your research, the only hotel in town, the Gilman Hotel, is located in the old town. You think about checking in. You could do with freshening up and getting rid of that buzz smell that is still clinging to your clothes. Just as you're about to set off, your heart leaps into your throat. You've forgotten your briefcase. This has never happened to you. You usually take good care of the little you possess. There's nothing you can do about this now. You'll have to wait until you return journey to find out whether someone has handed it in at the lost and found. Still, you could swear that the briefcase was already gone when you got to the bus. You decide on... What are we deciding on? Where are we going? The city center, the Gilman Hotel, or the harbor? First rights, first served. So, just, you know, put it in chat. Where do we go? Yes. Anyone else? Anyone? La biblioteca. Your phone's gonna die. Oh no. Save the phone. The harbor it is. Thanks, little Saurus. Innsmouth Harbor is signposted much better than the local hospital. You wonder if a hospital is even needed here. It's a half-hour walk. A mile-long carpet of cobblestone is now ahead of you. The traffic in Boston is more hectic, but at least they have heard of asphalt before. As you keep walking, there are fewer and fewer residential buildings along your path. In their stead, there are now warehouses that must be fish markets due to the smell. You can also hear the occasional metallic clinking from a nearby workshop. People in grey raincoats are walking toward you. They're probably fishermen who have some errands to run. Now and again, in that split second when you pass one another, you catch a glimpse of the faces hidden under the hoods. Didn't remember the word library for a moment. Yeah, I kinda. There's Cthulhu. Oh no. Yeah, have fun, little Saurus. Have fun going, I guess. Okay. Puffy eyes that look at you suspiciously. Although there are a few clouds in the sky, there's no chance of rain as far as you can tell. Why are they all wrapped up like that? You wonder if they have a sixth sense for approaching storms. The sound of the rhythmic blows of a hammer nearby tears you away from these thoughts. Would be interesting to watch the work in a shipyard, but little Tabitha is unlikely to be here to play. From a distance, you can already see the masts of the boats, which rise up into the sky like a row of spears. You walk along a small street at the quay. Quay? What that be? I don't know. Is that how? Anyway, you walk along a small street at the quay, with a harbor basin just behind you. I'm pretty sure one of those pronunciations is correct. Let's breathe in the sea breeze. Your lungs fill with fresh air, and peaceful feeling settles within you. The air seems to do you a world of good. More than that, it fills you with life. You should travel to the rural coast more often to escape the noise and smell of the big city. The view of the harbor is splendid. Boats of all shapes and sizes are coming and going. Nets are being emptied out, and fish seems to be endlessly splashing into a huge freezer box. Local trades are being sealed with handshakes, and at the end of the wide headland, a huge lighthouse watches majestically over the bay. The ideal postcard motif, if it weren't for the people. Yeah, fuck the people. What? K? Noun for a reinforced bank of the loading or unloading of ships or boats. A landing place, a place where vessels are loaded and unloaded. A wharf, usually constructed of stone. Okay, it's a K. KKK. I guess. Okay. Well, that word. Thanks, Garbles. Very highly appreciated. The more you know. You only know fishermen from the movies, and you have to admit that you have certain prejudice. These include: they have weather-beaten skin, and the captains always have well-groomed beards. They are either strong, silent types, or hard-drinking lads who sing filthy sea shanties. But these creatures in front of you are neither majestic nor leery. What is that word? They move around more like tragic hunchbacks you'd expect to see in French cathedrals. A few yards off the right, there's a fork in the road, and a road sign pointing further north. Its inscription reads, Innsmouth Paradise Beach. In the far distance you can see a building that looks like a church. Hang on, a church? On the coast? How eccentric. Oh no, not this again. Do we go to the beach, to the church, or the lighthouse? First type, first serve. Give me your answer. Beach, church, lighthouse. B, C, or L. Those are the options. Oh, I. I mean, there's an I and an O in lighthouse, so we're just going to the lighthouse. Initially, it looked as if the lighthouse was quite close, but as you keep walking, you realize that the trip is much longer than you expected. To the lighthouse! A path consisting of jagged rocks leads to the lighthouse on the harbor. The lighthouse is on the end of a narrow strip of land, and as you walk towards it, the surging wave risks drenching your clothes in icy salt water. It takes all your concentration and some balancing not to wipe out on the slippery rocks. In your mind's eye, new bills are already fluttering in the mailbox, one from the shoe repair shop and one from the psychotherapist. And an overturned wooden sign lies on the ground between a few of the rocks. You read the label, "Warning, absolutely no trespassing." Innsmouth hasn't been precisely inviting since your arrival, so you already know the tune. You approach the lighthouse looking for shelter, but with every step you take, the place becomes more and more unwelcoming. I mean, Muriel was pretty... She was pretty welcoming, I gotta say. Muriel is my favorite character. The great clouds transform into a mighty storm. Lightning strikes the top of the tower, and sparks fly. Despite the storm, the lighthouse keeper hasn't put on the signal. There is no beam of lights to guide boats out there safely to the harbor of Innsmouth. Soon, you're completely drenched, but you make it at last. You're standing at the door leading to the inside of the lighthouse. Some joker has scratched something into the flaking white layer of paint on the surface of the door. Do not come any closer. They want your body. This sounds suspiciously like a sex cult. One hears about these sex cults all the time. They regularly watch documentaries about them. Oh, you regularly watch documentaries about them. How does they? I mean, that's not true. What are you saying, game? You regularly watch documentaries about them on special websites that you visit in incognito mode. Incognito mode. That word. This special and intense form of preparation should have taught you everything you need to know and do if you ever encounter a cult. You tuck your underwear into place and walk purposefully forward. After all, you're on a mission. Consider the danger that this dilapidated old building may hold. A fragile building about to collapse, UFO nutters with aluminum foil heads, sex-hungry, mindless and naked cultists, house dust. Not to mention the missing girl that you need to find. Still, how often do you come to a place like this? Almost automatically, your hand comes to rest on the black iron door handle and pushes it down slowly and carefully. The door opens a crack, giving you a small glimpse into the neglected interior of the lighthouse. Darkness. Yeah, let's go into the lighthouse. Unsure of what to do next, you peek into the darkness. It's a dark, tall building. A very, very tall and thin building. Admittedly, it is highly unlikely that the lighthouse will collapse today, of all days. At least this is what you keep repeating in your mind, like a mantra. You step inside. Where exactly is the sex hungry cult? So you can avoid it. Yes, of course. Avoid it. What else? What else? Yeah, I can DM it to you later. So you can never go there. It's dry, but cold. The icy, stale air cools your shivering limbs even further. A spiral staircase leads up to the higher levels into the top of the lighthouse. On the higher floors, you can see round windows in the side of the wall, through which thunder and lightning throw brief flickers of light. Even the lowest corridor catches some of this light, so that you find yourself not completely in the dark. There are also some lamps that wind up along the banister. The black and white tiles on the floor have probably not been cleaned since the dawn of time. Storage boxes are cluttered around the place and take up about a third of the area of the ground level. To your astonishment, the walls of the lighthouse consist of a solid stone foundation. The metallic red and white painted exterior cladding must have been installed sometimes later as a modernization measure. You think that a sex cult in here is now a bit unlikely, but you do not want to give up hopes just yet. What now? Let's inspect them boxes. Maybe there's lube in there. Considering that the lighthouse is easy to reach from the port, it strikes you as odd that there are all of these supplies here. The boxes seem to hold food supplies, which make up the bulk of the goods, and loads of spare electrical parts. You inspect one of the open crates that, according to its label, has been delivered by a company from Salem. Spare lamps, tools, wiring. In theory, even a dusty system such as this one can be brought back to life with all these parts. The food is not quite to your taste, but efficient. Tinned tuna, sauerkraut, and all kinds of canned fruit still fill over half of one of the open crates. Delicious sauerkraut! 4 of the boxes are empty. 12 others are still untouched. Whoever lived here must have avoided contact with the locals like the devil avoided holy water. Finally, some sensible people. Let's just turn on the light. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. Trying won't hurt, unless, of course, you blow a fuse. You flip the light switch and wait in the twilight for something to happen. You know from old lamps in the cellar that they sometimes need a little time. You flip the switch again and again. You come to the conclusion that you'll have to make do with the pale daylight. As you look more closely, you realize that there's an inscription above the light switch. What is the inscription? You manage to make out. Activate to close the electrical circuit. Electricity powers many machines, especially those giving off light and warmth. Indeed, that is how light switches work. Well observed, strange person who wrote on the wall. Let's climb up the stairs. The banister has suffered the most age damage. The ravages of time have not only worn away the paint on the metal, but also the iron struts and pillars themselves. The scaffold seemed to move precariously. The scaffold seemed to move precariously as you walk up, just as if the construction is about to collapse. When you're halfway up the stairs, you can hear a loud metallic creaking sound. The stairway suddenly jerks down a little, and your insides feel like they continue dropping to the ground. Fine dust flutters down on your head. You try to guess the depth of the fall, If the structures were to collapse now, it would break quite a few bones, or worse. The chances of you getting caught up in a sex cult decreases with every step you take. This is the first really hard decision I'm having to face here. Does that mean if I turn around now I will find a sex cult? I don't know. But I guess I just keep walking upstairs. I've never been to a lighthouse. I want to know what's on the top of the lighthouse, so I'm just gonna keep walking. Just because the core of the spiral staircase is a bit loose, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to collapse, right? And perhaps that's just the residual alcohol in your bloodstream that's causing everything to spin. You carefully continue your way to one of the higher floors. About 30 feet above the entrance hall is the first mezzanine floor. A metal plate in the core of the spiral staircase would also provide some stability if the whole thing wasn't so damn rusty. You can see a plain bed, a desk with a telephone, a chest of drawers, and a wardrobe with an embedded mirror. A Persian carpet is laid out over the rivet metal floor. A pathetic attempt to make this room a little more homely. At least, there's a window on this level. Rain pelts against the glass. The weather outside seems to get worse and worse. You hesitate. Yeah, inspect the room more closely, please. There's not too much to explore here. Some neatly folded sheets and bedding have been placed on the bed. Awaiting a new inhabitant, perhaps? You turn to the desk. On it are a few envelopes and an atlas. I am inspecting... I think the envelopes would probably be the most useful thing. Can I inspect all of this, maybe? Let's see. Let's just start with the envelopes. Grab an envelope from the stack. Your fingers glide over the rough, fibrous paper. In the faint light, you can see how yellowed the envelope is. And that is especially made paper in the craft shop, or these letters are pretty old. The envelope is not sealed, so you fish out 10 $100 bills and a piece of paper with strange doodles that don't make sense to you. Is that a language? The characters are too chaotic for normal text, going across in rows and back again. On the back, you find a small text in English. Means of payment necessary for the purchase of goods and services. Valid from... to... with some doodles instead of a date. Maybe it's art. The only question is whether you're going to pocket the money or not. Yeah, I mean, it is used to purchase goods and services, and that's of course I'm gonna take that money. What is the question? I need to get goods and services with that money. The envelope had not been sealed. Not a soul around for miles, and you need the money badly. You briefly try to convince yourself that the money might go off. There seems to be something of a shelf life implied. You can't think of any better arguments, and even those you'd be hard-pressed to accept as an excuse for your behavior. Hastily, you stuff the bills into the inside of your pockets, in the pocket of your jacket. That's where they are now, right above your heart. You put the scribbled paper back into the envelope, because that's exactly how you found it. Precisely like that. Yes. Let's inspect the atlas. The atlas, from 1984, is still in amazingly good condition. You'd think that it had been sitting here on the desk for decades, waiting for just you. You look through the table of contents, and then flip through the atlas. Some pages are marked. Areas in Antarctica and Australia are marked with strange curls. In addition, pages about the United States, the states of Massachusetts, and the surrounding of Innsmouth are marked. A yellowed road map of Innsmouth. It's been stuck into these pages like a bookmark. The lighthouse is marked. On the last page you'll find an entry. Land mass distribution on political territories. Valid for. Followed by a series of the same curls. You put back the book how you found it. Alright, what about the bed? I need a bigger bed. Doesn't look super cozy. There's notes pinned to the headboard. Place of rest. Used for sleep cycle and procreation rituals. Traditionally used during the night time. For care instructions and terminology. Check. The rest of the note is not legible and covered up by strange scribbles. What about the telephone then? It's an old telephone with a dial plate. Just for fun, you pick up the receiver and get a dial tone. Next to the phone is another note. Communication apparatus. Connects acoustically to other similarly constructed equipment after the identification number is entered. Identification numbers can be obtained in person or from the central register provided. Central register provided. Under the phone are 2 old books dating back to the 70s. The first one is a consumer electronics manual. A short leaf through shows you manuals and constructions, plans for TVs, cameras, telephones, radios, cars, and the like. The other book is a Boston phone book. There's a bookmark peeking out of the side of it. When you open a book on that page, the phone number of a carpet cleaning company is marked. You can make neither head or tail of the matter. Should I call them? Should I call that suspicious number, that cleaning company number? I think that's a good idea. I haven't used one of them dial-up phones in forever. One of them with the plate dial. I'm just gonna try. Out of nostalgia, I'm gonna call the shop. On a whim, you decide to call the number. Maybe someone on the other end has an explanation for all of this. You know that it's very likely that the shop is bankrupt and the connection has been switched off. After all, the number's from the early 70s. To your surprise, there's a signal, and it seems to ring at the other end. After 4 or 5 rings, someone actually picks up the phone. But instead of a voice, you hear a series of strange clicking noises, as if a giant cricket or an angry lobster were on the other end. Hello? Anybody there? The clicking sounds on the other end ceases and the voice comes through the receiver. Cole's carpet cleaner, James speaking. How can I help? It really is a carpet cleaner. Who would have thought? I am calling from a lighthouse. A lighthouse? Really? Have you ever looked at the sea from above? There's something quite surreal about the answer. No? You should definitely do that. The view is breathtaking. Would go as far as to say it could change your whole life. But if you're in Innsmouth, there's nothing I can do for you. We only clean carpets in Boston. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll have work to do. Hung up. Nothing else to inspect here. You think you've seen enough and continue to follow the banister up the stairs. Meanwhile, thunder and lightning outside have become so furious, just as if the center of the storm is in the lighthouse itself. Stoically, you continue your way upstairs. The banister continues to wobble and squeak suspiciously, but it withstands the strain. The radius of a spiral staircase gradually becomes smaller. You estimate that you are now halfway up the building. You walk past another platform floor. This level is obviously used for nothing else but storing boxes. At least 30 or 40 stacked boxes, full to the brim with books. Seeing all these books causes a warm and fuzzy feeling in the pit of my stomach. I like books. How adorable. The previous lighthouse keeper must have been bibliophiles. You hope that you get to meet them, even though the place does look pretty deserted. You hesitate. Inspect the books, please. take a moment to examine the boxes and their contents more closely. Quickly, you realize that these are almost exclusively non-fiction books. You discover lexicons, grammar for English and Spanish, non-fiction books on biology, chemistry, physics, and geography. There's also a Bible, a guide to etiquette, and a Warren handbook for tourists on the East Coast. Out of interest, you flip through some of the books. The newest one seems to be from around the 1980s, but some go as far back as the 20s. Many are decorated with strange curls around the edges. On the last box, you find a few books that differ greatly from the scientific characters of the rest. There are books about occultism and obscure religions, titles like The Mystery of the Worm, Unspeakable Cults, and Liber Ivoris. Then there's also a book on popular UFO nutcase, and suddenly everything makes sense. Maybe the lighthouse keeper was a little soft in the head. Probably the loneliness. You keep walking up the stairs, past another mezzanine, and then you're on the upper level of the lighthouse. It's getting more and more unlikely that you'll find anything relating to your case here. Oh well. Examine the mezzanine. You find a strange collection of objects on this level. Sports equipment, musical instruments, and toys. The objects seem to have no connection to each other. In one corner, you can see an old tube television set with a Betamax device connected to it. Maybe it's worth looking through all these. Perhaps you'll find something valuable. Interesting. What are we inspecting? I guess I can still do all of these, but I still want to start with the toys. It's a bunch of colorful objects arranged on the table. You'll find a Rubik's Cube, a plastic hoop, some juggling balls, and a bunch of Mikado sticks. There's also a few of those annoying skill-based games where you have to metal hooks tangled together, and you have to get them apart somehow. But you can't make it work, and get frustrated, and just want to have tequila shots and be left alone with that kind of nonsense. Emma. That's not how you came to the pub. You know the kind. Okay. Besides toys, you also find a pen, and a piece of blank paper, a key and a padlock, some tins, a can opener, a plate of cutlery, and other everyday items. On the wall behind the table hangs a large poster on which someone has drawn two hands. It's labeled, "Hands, know your tools." Underneath are some hand gestures that you can use to create shadow play. You fiddle for a bit and expand your repertoire. Now you can do the crane, the elephant, and the crossroads. Right, what about the exercise machines? As a sports grump, you never manage to understand why people, after they have mastered mobility without using legs, would still voluntarily stand on bicycles or treadmills for fun. You suspect it must be a deep-seated masochism in the collective soul. The sports equipment includes a bicycle trainer, a treadmill, and a device that simulates climbing stairs. The latter seems particularly pointless. To you, as this tower, by God, really has enough stairs. In general, you do not understand why all these devices had to be carried up all the way to the second floor. In addition, all the sports equipment looks like it's hardly ever been used. On each machine, there's a small row of pictograms that show the use of the machine. At first, you think that they are instructions from the manufacturer, but then you realize that the pictograms are all hands-drawn. It's interesting. Very super sus, but interesting. I just gotta pour some fresh water, don't mind me. You guys enjoying this so far? Are you having fun? Are you enjoying my my noir detective voice that I absolutely have. Ah, water. You inspect the musical instruments. You like it? Thanks, Garbles. You see a piano and a guitar. You shudder just thinking about the poor soul who had to drag the piano up to the floor. On top of the piano are some sheets of paper. Strangely enough, they're not musical scores, but collections of curls and drawings of finger positions. It seems as if the piano was indeed less a musical instrument and more of a training ground for finger acrobatics. You don't know what to make of all this. Now what's on the TV? An old tube TV with a video recorder attached, Betamax to be exact. A cassette is lying on top of the device, with a note saying, "Information memory, insert into device and activate data playback." Underneath, a stylized drawing of the individual steps. Watch the video! Can't think of anything better to do with your time, so you insert the cassette and start the machine. The picture quality is, well, that of a video cassette. Doesn't seem to be any sound, just a series of images of people walking, strolling, running, hiking. The material seems to be cut together from different sources, regardless of context. You see excerpts from movies, sports news, aerobic videos, music shows. Then follow footage of the people sitting in chairs, climbing stairs, dancing, cycling, swimming, all in complete silence. That's eerie. It's awkward. That's kind of creepy. I want to say all of these words. I think they all are fitting. Finally, the screen goes dark. Praise the black screen! Just as you're about to take the tape out of the recorder, a new section of recording begins. Again, it's the same wild mix of source material, but this time the focus is on hands. Clapping hands, gesticulating hands, hands that use typewriters, cutting food, steering cars and other things. You wait desperately for an explanation, but the whole movie is completely silent. Then the picture turns back and white, and with a loud click, the tape is ejected. Well, that was a waste of time. At least no creepy Japanese kids crawled out of the TV. That's a reference to a movie! Alright, nothing else to inspect here. The last steps are always the hardest. Or is it the first ones? No matter which steps. Your heart is now beating so strongly that you can't feel the pressing against your chest. Once you're back home, you should really consider a healthier lifestyle. At last, you have reached the top floor of the lighthouse. Dulled glass, windows separate you from the thunderstorm outside. Rain pours down on the panes, and lightning occasionally illuminates the sky and reveals the billowing sea. If you were an artist, you would be the ideal place to paint tasteless paintings with ships on the churning waters. In the center of the floor, there is a metal column that must be there to support the lighthouse's uppermost platform. You assume that all this serves to stabilize and balance the construction. Apart from that, the floor is completely unfurnished. Sheets of paper with strange doodles affixed to some of the window panes. Pencil portraits of people, trees, houses, dogs. Around each drawing, someone seems to have made notes, but you can't make out the language. You wonder if it was a dispute artist who lived here towards the end, or some sort of Russian sleeper agent. Another ramp leads to the top of the lighthouse, where the actual lighthouse apparatus must be installed. You walk up the stairs. You've done it. You made it to the top of the lighthouse. Not in a million years did you think that this job would take you to such an exciting place in a boring coastal town. There's still a nasty thunderstorm out there, and the lightning keeps illuminating the glass cage in erratic intervals. Spellbound, you look at the roaring waves. They're beautiful. The power and steady movement of the waves, the foamy salt water splashing up, oh so incredibly high. You're so enticed by all the majestic beauty that you almost wish you were outside now, to feel the fresh sea breeze on your skin. But wait, why did you come here again? You try to tear yourself away from the endless spectacle of the sea and turn your attention to the center of the small glass dome. It is then that you make a curious observation. The lighthouse has no light at all. There's no light construction that could rotate in the direction of the harbor or the sea. Not even a flashlight in a microphone stand, where you would expect some sort of electrical machine. There is only a black column of about 3 feet high, whose curved forms merge at the top into a kind of marble plate. The altar, a voice in the back of your head, informs you. You learned the lighthouse as a kid? Yes, please elaborate. There's a cube on the altar. Yeah, I want to look at that cube more closely, I think. What could have happened? What's the worst thing that could happen looking at that cube? Yes, it is raining, indeed. Intrigued, you walk closer. The material of the cube must be bronze. It glistens dully in front of the black marble column. The object looks as if it belongs just there. It's perfect, right where it is. Everything looks as if it's been made from one piece. Na 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 na. There was a 3D ride in an amusement park of the story The Lighthouse. What is the story The Lighthouse? Is that what the movie The Lighthouse is based on, with the Green Goblin and the sparkling Twilight vampire? Also, Wild Clefairy in chat. If anybody wants to catch that Clefairy exclamation mark pokey catch, you can catch that pokey. What you first thought was some arbitrary decoration turns out to be hieroglyphics. Cranes, simple tools, knowing eyes. Curiously, you walk to the column of which the cube rests. What are Egyptian hieroglyphics doing in the lighthouse on the east coast of the United States? Your fingers are itching. Stephen King's The Lighthouse. Never heard of it. Was it a good movie, the Stephen King movie, or the Green Goblin Twilight Vampire movie? The Green Goblin Twilight Vampire Lighthouse movie, that was a pretty good movie, that is true. As a kid, it was terrifying. I'd really like the Stephen King one. Yeah, maybe I get to read it at some point in my life, maybe. There's so many books I want to read, so many movies I want to watch. That's, you know, you can't do all the things all the time. I take the cube into possession. What's the worst thing that could happen, right? I'm just gonna take that. I'm gonna take that globe with them inscriptions and stuff. I'm gonna take that on me now. Just for a brief second, you simply have to hold the bronze cube in your hand, feel the texture of its surface on your fingertips, inspect the hieroglyphics more closely, measure its exact weight, smell it, lick it. You have to know everything, absolutely everything about it. You extend your hands and touch the cube. And now you can't let go of it again. It seems to have melted into your skin. It somehow attached itself to you. Yes, it has stuck itself onto you. It continues to suck your consciousness and your soul. Everything is now trapped in a never-ending slipstream coming from this cube. You feel like you're caught in a mighty vortex that pulls you down deeper and even deeper. All of a sudden, you have a strange out-of-body experience and start to see yourself from the perspective of the cube. You feel something unbelievably strange beside you. Some sort of being has emerged from the depth of the vortex and is passing you by to float in the opposite direction. Your soul is swallowed by the cube and something strange occupies your body, loosens the least anchors and pushes you over the edge. You cling desperately to your mortal shell and then your consciousness starts to crumble. For a brief moment, you think that from the perspective of the cube, you're looking at the eyes that no longer belong to you. Then everything goes black. Okay. So that just happened. Also, I got 4 Discord notifications. What's going on there? Oh, okay. I only went live one time, thankfully. What's going on here? What are these pictures? Is that leaves? Oh, is that deer? And the squirrel? Yo, squirrel! It's cool. Is that deer? Yeah, those are some cool pictures, little Saurus. Those are really cool. Thank you. Yeah, the first picture is a bit blurry. Hey, Seth, thank you for that raid. Welcome, welcome. How are you all doing? Good to have you here, friends. Welcome to the city of Awesomeville, where I'm your most humble Mayor Flo McOsman. It's good to see you here. I'm playing the Innsmouth Case today. It's a game where I have to read a lot, compared to the other games that I play, where I never have to read anything, almost. But yeah, guys, if you're not already following Seth, highly recommend. Really cool guy, does lots of shiny hunts. And already found Darkrai, and now is hunting for Arceus. Maybe he already caught Arceus. Do you already have the Arceus? Second picture is the same as the first one, but it's some edits to make it more seeable. I see. 350, no shiny yet. Oh shucks. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Seth. If you get it under 5k, I'm gonna be maybe a bit pissed at you. But yeah, I hope you had a great stream. And yeah, thank you all for being here. We're doing spoopy games because it's Spooptober. And yeah, that's what we're doing. I'm reading. Yo, little Saurus, you got 1001 Palkia encounters and still no shiny. Shucks. Couldn't be me doing 1001 encounters without the shiny. Also out of tea. Sad no tea noises. Alright, what do we have here? As you wake up from restless dreams, a bright light shines into your eyes. It feels like a burning sensation directly penetrating into your brain. After the initial shock, you gradually come to your senses. You're no longer in the lighthouse. You find yourself in a huge round chamber made of dark, smooth stone. Curved lines adorn the walls and give off a soft, fluorescent glow. You begin to wonder how many hours you've been knocked out. Did you have a stroke? No wonder, giving all the stress and constantly put yourself under. A sound, a chirping and clacking that vaguely reminds you of insects. Oh, that's comforting. Only it's louder and seems to be coming from directly behind you. Someone's in this room with you. You turn around quickly, trying to find the source of the clacking sound, and you regret it immediately. Hideous, bizarre monsters are lined up in front of you like one of the set of a bad horror movie. They're basically just huge cones of flesh, covered with a thin film of slime. Oh, hi! What? Hi. Hi. You instinctively think of your landlady. Fond memories of a hot evening fond memories from a hot evening one August. Mrs. Valdeglort is once again upset about the missing payment, scolding you, and at the same time sweating in the yellowish light of the evening sun. Sweat formed on her face and collected onto her upper lip. You are completely hypnotized by the sight, which was not conducive to the ongoing rent negotiations. But right now, you have other problems. What ungodly secrets do these pictures depict that would warrant depraving us unwashed masses from laying our eyes on them? Yes, those words. The flesh cones are a bizarre sight. Your mind is having trouble processing what it sees. At the top of the flesh cones, there are 4 tentacle-like growths, each ended in a different organ. 2 form huge, sharp claws that appear to be clicking incessantly. Another one ends in a jumble of trumpet-like tubes, and the 4th one forms what you think is the head of the creature. But yes, what ungodly secrets do these pictures depict that would warrant depraving us unwashed masses from laying eyes on them? This seems pretty unwashed, and not for the masses. It is true. A round organ with 3 eyes, a set of feelers above, and a ring of tentacles just below. Half a dozen of these creatures now stare at you from their bright yellow eyes, clicking their scissors menacingly. One of the beings breaks away from the group and comes towards you with its claws raised. Do the only rational thing. Should have prepare for a fight. Let's just see what happens. We're gonna prepare for a fight. You have no idea you have no idea what planet these monsters come from, but they have never had to deal with a private detective from Boston. The creature moves like a snail. It has no legs. Rather, its base keeps expanding and contracting. This gives you enough time to analyze its weak points. You reckon that it is about your size, and although its claws look scary, you don't think these spindly arms can exert much force. His neck, in particular, seems to be a weak spot. 1 or 2 hard hits on the head should put this pathetic barnacle out of business. You raise your fist aggressively. But instead of your hands, the scissors at the end of the tentacles appear in front of your eyes. You stare down at yourself in disbelief and find yourself transformed into a monstrous vermin. Where you were expecting to see your legs, there is only a fleshy cone from which 4 tentacles grow a pitiful claw arm, a trumpet-like extension on your neck. You are no longer in your own body. What's this happening to me? You ask yourself, but you already know it yourself. You're one of those monsters. You faint. You should be able to understand me now. You open your eyes. You're still in the same position where you lost consciousness. Only a brief moment seems to have passed. But what is this pinching feeling in your neck? Looks like a small device that has been attached to your new body. Waking up in a new body is disturbing. I understand that. So, first of all, let me reassure you that this state is not permanent, and when you return, you won't remember anything. You hear the voice not through your ears, or the comparable organ in your body, but directly in your head. What you hear is the clicking of scissors. I've attached a translation device to you. We can now discuss all the questions you no doubt have. Evidently, the beings communicate with each other via their scissors. So, what would you like to know? Where am I? The creature is thinking. You're in Australia. Ah, you've always imagined Australia differently. The important question is, when are you? Clicks one of the beings from further in the back in the room. The creature close to you abruptly turns its long neck towards the heckler. Damn it, Frank! That's my favorite part to the newcomer lecture. Don't spoil it for me. Although you do not yet have much control over your new body, you can apparently roll your eyes. Okay, when am I? But the creature in front of you seems to be in a huff. Man, it's no fun. You're on Pangaea, in the Permian period, in the late Paleozoic era, where in the distant future Australia will one day arise, about 250 million years before we picked you up. Okay. Time travel? I've traveled through time? Now, it's the creature's turn to roll its eyes. To make this brief, yes, you did. Yes, like on TV, just completely different. No, we don't keep a record of lottery numbers. No, we have no interest in killing fascists while they're still children. No, we cannot start any paradoxes. The universe is predetermined, and free will is an illusion. Is that I? I guess that's I. Yes, that can be a bit depressing at times, but also very liberating. Wait, what? Is it? No, that's that guy. Is it? I think that's that guy again. And just yes, that can be a bit depressing at times, but also very liberating if you think about it. If you think about if for a moment. Yes, we also know about Back to the Future. Any other questions? Yes, if you can time travel, why do I have to wait here for years for my body to be released? Would it not be possible to send me back at the point in time where your colleague leaves my body at this very moment? The creature nods slowly. Yes, you'd think, wouldn't you? No further explanation seems to be forthcoming. Ask another question. Now, who are you then? The creature straightens up. We. The translation in your head begins with an air of gravitas. A great race of Yith. We are the wisest species in the whole of creation. Countless eons ago, but also in the distant future, we made it our mission to gather all the knowledge of the universe. This quote is missing. I'm confused, but I guess it's still that creature talking. We have sent our agent. We have sent our agent through space and time to observe and study. When we learned of our own demise in this way, we transplanted our spirits en masse into this form that you now see before you. Your new friend seems to want to do a playful pirouette to show off his body, but since he is resting on his slimy snail foot, the process takes a good 2 minutes. Snazzy, isn't it? So functional and sturdy. His scissors rub against each other, which the device translates as a bashful coughing. Anyway, to answer your question more directly, I am Merton. Hey, my colleagues and I are activists in the Great Library of Necatus Department of Human Studies, Western Hemisphere Subdivision, Free Nuclear America Working Group, or so we call ourselves, the tough amoebocytes, or as we call ourselves, the tough amoebocytes. Sure, why not? As if they've rehearsed it before, the other youth in the room begin to shout, "Tough amoebocytes!" Great, they're nerds. Pre-nuclear America? What do you mean by pre-nuclear America? We've had nuclear power stations for a while now. Merton makes a dismissive gesture with his hands. Well, claw. Oh, don't worry about it. So, what would you like to know? What will happen to my body? What has happened to my body? The translator transforms your thoughts into clicking sounds. You can only hope that the pressing nature of your question has not been lost in translation. Yes, that's the unpleasant part of the lecture. You touched one of our carefully placed transmitters, so your mind was switched with one of our agents. Carefully placed transmitters? You mean the cube? The cube at the top of the abundant and locked lighthouse. You mean what's with this? What is this? The cube at the top of the abandoned and locked lighthouse in the forgotten backward village in the middle of nowhere? I guess. The transmitter is placed in a way that ensures that it is only found by people who are not easily missed. While you are here, our agent is gathering vital information about your society and environment using your body. You are to remain here in his body and must wait until he has completed his mission. Then we will erase your memory, so you won't take any of our superior knowledge with you and send you back. And how long does this normally take? The creature answers sheepishly. Oh, 3 to 10 years max. This information hits like a kick in the stomach, which, in this body, seems to be at the bottom of the fleshy cone. It's a very unusual feeling. 3 to 10 years? You mean Earth years? What am I supposed to do in the meantime? Well, we've got a lot of things to read around here. Also, we'd like you to write down your life story for us. An autobiography for the Great Library, preserved for all eternity. A bit of immortality most beings in this galaxy dare not to even hope for. Oh dear. But I'm on a mission. I need to find a little girl. People are counting on me. The creature looks at you with something that, even despite the strange facial features you manage to recognize as a skepticism. If your mission was so important, why did you waste so much time in the lighthouse? Good question, actually. You need to accept that your mission is over. Try to use your time here productively. Should I mention my vegan diet that I totally have, of course? No, I think I'm good. I have no question at this stage. The creature seems to be baffled by this. Really? None? Nope. Ah, Okay, in that case, we'll set you up for training so you can get to know your new body a bit better. Once you've made some progress, we will teach you to write in Yith, and then you can start with writing down your life story. Frank, can you give me a hand here? Frank arrives with a machine that looks like a mix between a forklift truck and a spatula. He carefully scrapes your currently still useless snail body off the floor and transports you out of the room. First, you learn to control your new body, then trumpet-like extensions, which simultaneously serve as a breathing organ, mouth, and waste outlets, prove to be the biggest challenge. You can only eat if your whole body is working on the task. You almost suffocate several times while eating. You sincerely hope that the agents using your human body is doing a better job of it. Then you start to learn the curved script of the Yith. In fact, everything in the culture of the Yith is curved, smooth, and circular. They have an extreme aversion to right angles. When you ask Frink about it, he replies something about the dogs of the Tindalow, who live in the corners of time and hunt time travelers. Fair enough. You start to settle in. All in all, Yiths prove to be quite boring people once you actually get to know them. Their bodies do not follow for much mobility, they have no sense for fiction, and they reproduce via spores. A very impersonal process which ensures that sex and love, all the dramas associated with them, are completely unknown in their society. Since you are living in a host body, you're not allowed to take drugs or participate in any exciting or dangerous activities. The vegetarian food of the Yith is either very bland, or their taste buds are not very developed. Perhaps it's by design, since the species takes in and excretes food through the single organ you would kill for a bag of potato chips. Then comes the point where I ask to write down your autobiography. You write. Yeah, of course I'm gonna write the mix between spy stories and adventure novels with a sprinkle of karate. Your fictional biography has it all. Excerpts from your life as a secret agent, bomb countdowns that interrupted only at the last second, exaggerated romances with the political enemies, twists. It's all completely fabricated, but you don't care about that. You have created a piece of pretty damn entertaining literature that will get the various juices of many and Yith flowing. If you regret one thing, then that there are not enough explosions, scenes with hackers. I'm gonna go with scenes with hackers. You give a shrill hoot, the Yith equivalent of a deep sigh. It will have to do, otherwise you'll end up rewriting the whole thing. After a few dull months, it's finally time for a party. In a large hall, one of the archivists gives an extremely long and boring lecture on the importance of rapeseed oil in various human and post-human civilizations. All the Yith gather around small bar tables in an area and listen intently as they sip on nourishing slime, which is slightly sweeter than usual. Afterwards, there is a competition in solving quantum equations. The different working groups, completely with nerdy and terribly boring team names, compete against each other. The archivists of a working group, the tough amoebocytes, are kicked out early by the Atlantic pre-humanities. By the Atlantic pre-humanities, and the persistent platyhelminths. Yes, to lukewarm applause. It is practically an orgiastic celebration by youth standards. Orgiastic celebration by youth standards, I guess. Nerds! Indeed. Nerds indeed. For you, the most important part of this evening is the first contact with other guests of the youth. Other beings pushed out of their bodies by the agents of the library and hundreds and hurled through time. Stand around in their guest bodies and talk to each other quietly. Unfortunately, they have small name tags on which you can see not only their names and working group, but also their species of origin. It says fortunately they have small name tags. I kinda misread there. With you at the table are two creatures who are identified as Gregor, post-Mohammedan Eurasian Homo sapiens, and Zikle, daughter of Klitzkle, second Amazon desert epoch, mega periplaneta technologicus. You have the urgent need to walk to someone to avoid dying of brain hemorrhage due to boredom. You talk to Sklitskli. Right there in front of you sits the mind of a completely alien being in the body of another completely alien being. How do you even start the conversation like that? This still feelers start to twitch. What actually is a mega periplaneta? Mega periplaneta. What actually is a mega periplaneta? Still begins to look dreamily into the corner of the hall. That is an excellent question. Are we the sum of our experiences or are we our actions? We are proud of our environment or do we have free will? What makes me me? A little detective would have been able to do anything with that answer. But you hung out in enough student pubs in your time to recognize the first year philosophy students when you hear one speak. No, I mean, biologically speaking, what is a mega periplaneta? Do you come before or after humans? Her eyes focus again. Oh, mega periplaneta are descendants of beetles that must have lived in your time. We come about 500,000 years after humans. I believe you call our ancestors cockroaches. A giant cockroach discussing philosophy. The two worst party encounters rolled into one. Giant cockroaches? Giant cockroaches. What a strange thought. Giant cockroaches? How did you manage to survive with all the surrounding humans? Oh, I only know humans from prehistoric museums. They've gone extinct. Apparently, you can't cope as well with radiation as we do. Which is strange, since it was you who contaminated everything with radiation. What do you mean, contaminated? Well, after the big war in which you wiped yourself out. We would never do such a thing. Yeah, it's gonna be in the far, far future, I hope, I guess. You've got to admit that you're feeling a little queasy in the general direction of your youth stomach. You've often wondered, even fantasized, how mankind might exterminate itself. But when it is being described by a creature from the future, it doesn't seem quite as fun a thought experiment. Um, okay. I'm sure the point where we all blow ourselves up is in the far future. You say optimistically. Zickel makes a dismissive gesture with her claws. Oh, yes, don't worry. Nuclear war only happens at some point in the 21st century of the Common Era, and most people die before that anyway. I'm sure you're off the hook. Ha. Zickle feelers starts to twitch. Uh, so, I... This is a bit of an awkward follow-up, isn't it? Let's just see. Hey, baby. Did it hurt when you fell from the heaven? You know exactly how to talk to strange beings. After all, you've been on blind dates before. Zickle looks at you irritably. Of course, it hurt. But how did you know that I had a cramp in my wings before? Because when I look at your eyes, I think you must be an angel. Wait, what? You're halfway through your chat-up routine before you realize it's going somewhere differently than normal. Zickle seems very confused. But what is this about? Are you trying to chat? Oh wait, that's her. Oh yeah, that's that creature. I what is this about? Are you trying to chat me up? Is this some kind of mating ritual? uh, okay, human. My ancestors evolved from giant cockroaches, but even I find this pickup line too trashy. Yeah, I guess I'm just going to stand somewhere else then. Your instincts to leave this place begin to gain the upper hand. I'm just going to stand somewhere else. You say by way of clacking your scissors and then move your fleshy body to a few yards away from Zickle. Fine, she clacks back. Let's talk to Gregor. Yeah, okay then. Another human being. The first contact in months you've had with another person. You turn to Gregor. So, hi. It's nice to meet a fellow human being. Where exactly are you from? Gregor's head flops toward you. He seems to have been lost in thought, but you have the feeling that he is happy to have an opportunity to talk. Is this true? Another human being? I'm so happy to finally be able to talk to a comrade. My name is Gregor. Gregor Ivashenkov. I'm from Kiev. Gregor's head flaps about rhythmically. I love vodka. I love vodka. You click with your scissors, perhaps a little too enthusiastically. Gregor's head tentacles twitch slightly. The universal interplanetary sign for who doesn't? Gregor's head flops about rhythmically. And where are you from? Gregor's upper tentacle briefly twitches. Only a few seconds later do you realize that it was probably an attempt at a tired smile, performed by a person in a body that meets exactly 0 of the emotional requirements for a smile. The last thing I remember is celebrating Labor Day with my friends. That was in 1980. I was promised that in 6 years at the very latest I would be allowed to go on with my life. And I will. Chernobyl, here I come. Oh, damn. Luckily, you're currently in a robust youth body, because a human face would be chalk white right now. Yeah, that's unfortunate timing. Okay. Hey, girl, you a cockroach? Uh, what if I warn him about Chernobyl? Hey, girl, are you a cockroach? Because I want to smash you. Yes, Garbles knows how to get the ladies. Let's warn that guy about Chernobyl. I'd stay away from Chernobyl, mate. You warn him with a slow clacking of your scissors. What? But why? He clacks back. At least now you have his full attention. Well, Chernobyl, you continue. Everyone knows about Chernobyl in my time. Gregory's eyes widen. Yes? Why that? Well, because of the, there was this awful reactor incident and, oh damn it. If only you paid a bit more attention to the things while you were still human. You desperately tried to combine the tidbits of knowledge you have into a plausible story. Hundreds of acres of land were contaminated, maybe even more? Gregor does not seem convinced. It all sounds to me like you know very little about Mother Russia, my friend. His scissor snips back and forth 3 times. They have a strange sense of humor in the capitalist state. Your honorable intention to warn Gregor if his potential painful death is being to waver. This guy is slowly but surely getting on your nerves. Once more, he will have forgotten everything he learned here in his time with the Yith. You've got to let him live his life. What about Comrade? Tell me, Gregor, what country are you from? Didn't he say he's from Kiev? Gregor appears to be standing up a little bit taller. From the greatest country in the world, of course, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. And yes, this is where he gets his accent. Only now does he seem to be reading your own name tag. Oh, an American. Tell me, in your time, are the workers of your country finally free? Have the capitalist devils surrendered to communism? I mean... He's waiting for your answer. I wouldn't quite put it like that. You say without getting into specifics. What? Are you serious? Gregor says, resignedly. You're only saying that because you're bitter. You change the subject so as not to add fuel to the fire. Yeah, I think I'm going home. This is how you pass your time. Despite your initial bumps, you end up getting more closely acquainted with Gregor and Zickle. Your shared faith is what ties you together. Over the coming months and years, you end up becoming friends and sharing common interests. You spend most of your time studying human history, trying to produce nicotine replacements. Human history it is, I guess. Gregor manages to get you interested in the history of mankind and Earth in general, and you spend a lot of time in the library or talking to other guests of the Yith. You become quite an expert in human history, even epochs whose knowledge is almost completely lost in your time. Like the Chronicles of Hyperborea, you also learn many things about the lives and history of the Native Americans. Things no one ever taught you at school. You have a long and intense debate with Zickle about philosophy, and learn new and interesting things about yourself. Sometimes in quiet moments you wonder what you would do if you were back in your old body. You get the feeling that you have never really learned to appreciate it. This is how the years go by, and towards the end, the boredom with the Yith becomes almost bearable. And then your time with the Yith is over. Finally, the day has come. You're being led into transport. Finally, the day has come. You're being led in the transport room. It's the same room you arrived in so many years ago. When the process starts, you overhear two of the librarians talk. You erased this participant's memory, right? I thought you were doing that. Oh, and you're gone. You wake up, as you've woken up many times before, after drunken nights out in some dive bar, after awful parties at which you drank yourself into stupor. But it's different this time. The flickering before your eyes ceases. The agony and disorientation gives way to a sense of clarity that you have rarely felt. Your normal, slightly hazy thoughts are clear. Not a shallow pond, but a crystal clear lake. Your memory is filled with knowledge from the intensive studies you have undertaken in the Great Library. So much knowledge. Yeah. Your gaze wanders through the room in which you find yourself. The room sits there calmly between these four well-known walls. You're at home, on your sofa. Well, technically it's not your sofa. It's a completely new one, without the bugs and rats that moved into the nest in the bottom. Into a nest at the bottom. Everything is unnaturally clean, and the sofa doesn't seem to be the only piece of furniture that has been replaced. Later you will find out that the youth who had swapped places with you has not only used 6 years for highly efficient studies, he also applied for a position at the largest historical museum in Boston. Successfully, of course, because the youth do not do things by halves. Your eyes light up as you read the number on your last paycheck. You hold the paper close to your face, so close to your face that the nose brushes the paper. Twice a year, twice as often as you normally would, your possessed body has contacted your family, giving what appeared to be a completely natural, boring, and meaningless confirmation that you are fine. There are postcards from your relatives sending greetings from the holidays. Postcards which postcards postcards which say that they are proud of you, proud that you've managed to turn your life around. That's certainly one way of putting it. The youth has eaten well, fresh fruit, the prescribed daily minimum vitamins, proteins and fiber to make the stuff as efficient as possible. To make his studies as efficient as possible. The youth also exercised. In the bathroom, you look at your body and stretch in front of the mirror. You take off one layer of clothing after another. 6 years have gone by. Intrigued, you look at your face in the mirror. And a few more wrinkles for sure. Yet you feel that your life is only just beginning. Yes, we can! That was fun. I liked that game. Spend 6 years of your life among the youth. As if you had anything else going on. Yeah, I know, right? So this is all the endings. I guess there's several endings. Ah. What is this? Can I do something different at the harbor here? Okay, I can go to the harbor or the city center. So I guess everywhere where there's a bigger decision to make, the game makes a like a save file, I guess, or a checkpoint. I should probably say. Yeah, that went way faster than I thought it would. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I agree. I like this game. Apparently there's a shit ton of different endings. Yes, it has lots of endings. Another one. Yeah, but that's gonna take like 2 hours again. Been streaming for 2.5 hours now. That would take this to 5 hours. So I'm not sure if I want to do that, to be honest. I mean, I guess I can go back to the harbor. There we go. We're back at the harbor. Signpost, half an hour walk. Yes, keep walking. Warehouse. Maybe we'll find a sex cult this time. Thanks for the shiny luck, little Sora. It's very highly appreciated. Oh no, what did I do? Postcard, yes. I think I clicked something that I didn't want to click. A few yards to the right, there's a Paradise Beach. Let's go to the church this time, because I'm pretty sure the beach is where we actually continue and probably where we find the little girl. So let's see what the church has to offer. The church is located on a hill overlooking the harbor. You're immediately drawn towards it. You stroll along the docks towards the cliff. You take in the pleasant sea breeze and the hustle and bustle on the ships. Your originally mission pops into your mind. This place is so relaxing. It's just too easy to forget about the little girl. You've forgotten about the girl? Oh no, Garbles. Out of the corner of your eye, you can see 3 fishermen whose boat is just moored. They're not working. In fact, they're not doing anything. They're just standing there, staring at you. That feeling of serenity slowly overtaken by anxiety. Why are you looking at me? What are you looking at me for? You shout across at them, giving them an aggressive look. You bet these little sea oafs have never before come across a tough city type such as yourself. One of the three still observes you with mild interest. The others are already looking at their nets. After a few yards, you turn around again. They're all gone. The crew must have disappeared below the deck in their little boat. What a strange bunch. Suddenly, it's utterly plausible to you that people in this town can disappear just like that. You're a little closer to the church building now, and you're relieved to find that there are a few dozen people outside its gates. And they're not the usual creepy Innsmouth kind. A group gesticulating and discussing something in a very animated manner. Normal people. You reach the courtyard. You're able to assess the situation a little better. 2 groups with about the same number of people are confronting one another, surrounded by a few more reserved onlookers. 2 shouty people who appear to be the representatives of the 2 camps are facing each other. A bronze plaque is displayed above the gates to the entrance. Engraved on it, Esoteric Order of Dagon. I will join that crowd. Oh, hi! You walk up to the crowd. You peek over your shoulder of the stocky figures in front of you, while listening to the 2 men and occasionally nod or mumble words of dissent. One of the 2 squabblers, a weather-beaten man with bulging eyes, is just about to launch into the finale of his speech. Is that the guy? Is that the guy that's speaking? The snapping cockroach has kind of distracted you. Yeah, you need to read more Lovecraft then. And therefore, Dagon is the one god who created us in his own image. And his only son is Obed Marsh, who come to earth as a man. And he is Dagon himself, because we... No! His counterpart interrupts. He's a bearded professor type, dressed in a grey wool sweater, who highlights every word with an aggressive jab of a pipe in his hands. Is that the professor type now? I guess the professor type now.
Dagon is a creator of the world, but he is above us. He has no children, no nothing even close to this kind of thing. Even saying that is a heresy. It is in the writing of the prophet Abdul al-Hazaret.
With a scrunch-up face and in high-pitched voice, the sailor repeats these last words.
Abdul al-Hazaret! What a load of horse dung!
The crowd is now on fire. The fists are raised, and there is a crackling tension among the onlookers.
Oh yeah? And the whole Obed Marsh was born by immaculate conception, with Marianne Marsh was bathing in the sea. Story. What do you call that?
I don't even know who is who anymore. This is very confusing.
She was blessed there on Receive Obed, and you know it. The bug-eyed sailor shouts.
The bug-eyed sailor shouts out, no longer trying to contain his anger.
You know it?
He added, hissing quietly. The ongoing murmur of the crowd is occasionally drowned out by the heavy breathing of the two main speakers. The crowd is up in arms.
Yeah, I'm just gonna enter the church, thank you very much.
Why not? You're already here after all. Almost immediately, two grumpy-looking men, clothed like fishermen, stand in your way, preventing you from entering the church. They seem to have a competition going as to who can give you the most sinister look. What now?
I need to go in there.
You murmur a little, intimidated.
I don't think so,
scoffs the younger one of the two.
Yeah, I don't think you need to go in there. This is only for the children of Dagon.
The older one grunts. They look at you with a glint in their eyes. You decide to leave. Other than religious fanatics, the Church of Dagon does not seem to have much else to offer, and there are enough of those in Boston. You walk down the sloping path from which you have come until you are back at the quay wall of the harbor.
Yeah, that was useless.
Alright, then I guess we're going to the beach. The beach. The screeching of seagulls, the endless white, well, brown, okay, fine, grey beach, and the sound of the waves. Clean, well, potentially clean water. The algae are way too dense to really tell. You walk on the sand and move a little closer to the waterline, curious about what you might discover there. Although the sea is not stormy and the tide is low, Innsmouth Beach is not really a touristy place. Everything is simply too grey. This is what you associate with a real vacation. Cocktails. The more paper umbrellas, bits of fruit, and straws, the better. You rub your hands. You can hardly wait to blissfully collapse into a hammock with a drink in your hand. You were born for that. Lost in thought, you keep wandering over the dunes. You notice how all of the colors of the sea and the beach seem to be swallowed up by the strange light conditions here. You hold your hand up in front of your face. Your skin looks grey and matte. But still, you feel relaxed. The murmur of the sea invigorates you. You feel a deep sense of longing within you. A serene sense of inner peace and freedom. Until the techno music starts. A monotonous beat. The sound seems to come directly from the beach bar a few hundred yards on the distance, which appears to be surrounded by about a dozen people. Given the changing weather, it's perhaps no surprise. What else is one supposed to do on this beach apart from drinking cheap cocktails and dancing to bad music? Something strange grabs your attention. A kind of cage standing in the shallow water, perhaps 12 feet wide and deep. The cries of the seagulls are increasingly drowned out by the early 80s, 90s techno beats. One note, that's all some people need to enjoy themselves. One note in an endless loop. The owner of the beach bar has taken great pains to make up for some Innsmouth deficits. The bar is made from wooden planks and features a nice countertop and an exotic canopy made from palm trees. Admittedly, the palm trees are no longer green. They're grey and dried out just as if demons had sucked the life force out of them. But it's easy to imagine that all this must have looked quite pretty once. The bar is flanked by wooden bar stools, and a few meters away, towards the ocean, 2 rows of deck chairs have been put up so the people can get drunk while laying down. From a distance, the bar looked busy, but now as you arrive, you realize that the party is already over, if it ever did take place. A dozen people hang out here. A few surfer dudes stagger about like zombies. Some of them carry empty cocktail glasses around. Some of them yell, "Party!" and "Woohoo!" enthusiastically. Precisely this kind of people. A guy with long hair and sunglasses nods his head in time to the techno beat and taps along on the bar counter with his flat hand. There's no bar staff in sight. One of the tourist families you had spotted on the way here is spread out on the deck chairs. They are evidently trying to keep away from the party. You look around. I think I'm gonna go to the deck chairs. I'm not that 90s techno so much, so I think that's cool. It can't hurt to just rest for a moment. It means you'll be able to resume your mission full of energy, or whatever. Most of the chairs are free. All offer excellent views of the sea and the increasingly cloudy horizon. You're spoiled for choice. Of course, you're going to somewhere more private. Stay away from it all. You decide on the deck chair that's the furthest away from the bench, from the beach bar and its visitors. Yet, you're not alone. It's the family you've already noticed a few times today. Happily chatting parents who are constantly eating, and the 2 chronically bad-tempered children. The 4 are hard to miss, with their loud chatter and tasteless tourist outfits. They've settled down on the deck chairs, sipping on some soft drinks. Not too shabby. The dark clouds drawing together on the horizon worry you a little, but they're far away enough for you not to simply enjoy this moment on a beach. Technically, you have been near a beach the whole time, but you couldn't really switch off. There was a haunting sense of danger, a feeling of paranoia that you simply couldn't shake off. Luckily, the paranoia has gone. A cool sea breeze caresses your face as you tune out of the other tourists' annoying conversations. You listen to the murmur of the waves. The regular to and fro of the sea has a soothing effect on you. Your eyes fall shut. It's cold. You're freezing, which is annoying because you had settled down quite comfortably on one of the deck chairs. You could swear you'd noticed a shadow while half asleep. There was a figure who tried to grab you and carry you away. Was that all a dream? Good question. Was it? A chilly wind blows in your face. Oh, damn it. This case is going to be the death of you. You simply lie there, as if dead. Your attempts to return to a more comfortable position are punished by a stabbing pain in your behind. Some bit from the chair is digging into you. Probably a cheap model. Damn tight asses, you mutter weakly and push yourself into an upright position. The sun has now set, and all other holiday makers have gone. Instead of freezing their asses off, they're probably sitting in a warm hotel by now. The moon illuminates the beach, and the waves shimmer in its eerie green glow. Green. Nature is fascinating. You stretch your tense neck when you notice some lights off in the distance. Night has fallen, and with each passing minute, it seems to get chillier. The lights appear to be moving and are leading away from the town. You wonder whether you should take a closer look at the spectacle or go to your warm hotel. Yeah, I'm gonna go along the beach towards the lights, of course. That's what a reasonable main character in a horror movie would do, right? Why not? The day is almost over. It's almost over anyway. And maybe you can at least manage to figure out what the lights in the distance are all about. You trudge through the sands. Then you notice that the lights you were heading towards are moving. They do not stand still, but twitch back and forth. Hang on a moment. You're on a beach. It's night. Weird blinking lights. This is clearly a sex cult. These perverts have no respect for anything. The nudist zone must be further along the beach, and now they are getting started. Somebody ought to tell them off. Somebody like me. Your time has come. You decide to approach them. In the name of public decency, of course. Not for any other reason. For non-sex cult related reasons. You check the fit of your underwear before walking up to them. You arrived. Somewhat indecisively, you stand on a sand dune and take in the spectacle. There are 20, maybe 30 people who have gathered here on the bench close to the waves. You can see that they are naked under the rags, and nets that they are wearing on their bodies. They were performing a sensual and seemingly uncontrolled dance while waving glow sticks in the air. The masks that people are wearing seem familiar from film and television. Distorted faces with angry mouths and ugly goggle eyes. Remind you a little of voodoo, but here on the coast of New England. You're not quite sure anymore whether you're at a rave party or actually an exotic fertility ritual. The acoustics are bad. Instead of the clear techno beat, the people here rely on singing. They could do with rehearsing, though. Without any sense of rhythm, the people are chanting the same refrain over and over again. Yo, Milo, thanks for that raid, very highly appreciated, friends. Welcome, welcome into the City of Awesomeville, where I'm your most humble mayor, Flo McGosman. It's good to have you here. We're doing the Innsmouth Case right now. This is more like an interactive novel, I want to say, so there's a lot of reading to do. But yeah, how was stream? Did you have fun? How was watching over two things, I guess? How art thou thingeth? Double shout out. Oh damn, you better really go check out Milo cause he's really cool and amazing. He's so cool he gets 2 shout outs. And none of the fancy Twitch shout outs. Let me do this also. Guys, check out Miley. Miley? Check out Milo. Highly recommend. You said I want to raid me and you lost 3 viewers. Oh no. Yeah, nobody wants to come here. This place is just horrible, I understand. I would also leave if I could, but I kinda have to mayor this city, so I have to be here. Watching over 2 things, so it's gotta be 2 shoutouts. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. You need to sleep. Okay. Yeah, I mean, this is just me reading stuff here, so that would be, I think, good fall asleep content, I guess. But yeah, did I read this already? Yeah, the same refrain over and over again. Cthulhu, Vertagen. Cthulhu, Vertagen. I'm gonna take part in this, of course. That's very catchy, that refrain. The whole point of holidays is doing crazy things you normally wouldn't. And besides, nobody here knows you. You sneak up to the group of dancers and attempt to seamlessly blend into the chaotic spectacle. Why? Oh boy. Everyone who's watching my stuff knows this game. This is the first time I'm playing this game. But yeah, that's how this goes. But thanks for the goat, little Saurus, I guess. Seemingly blend into the chaotic spectacle. You're lucky. In the midst of the rags that most people are wearing here, your detective outfit doesn't particularly stand out. You're just another freak among many. You get swept up in the ecstasy of the dance. Your thighs tremble and your arms wriggle around. You throw back your head and join the loud chanting. Yeah! Yeah! Sully frogs! You enthusiastically imitate the chant. A few glow sticks have been dropped during the dance and lie abundant in the sand. When you bend down to pick up one of them, you realize that they are not disposable glow sticks at all. They're algae. Glowing algae. You keep dancing cheerfully. Past the bizarre masks with swollen eyes, which up close look much more threatening. A bit scary. From a distance, this horror part of the show would have completely escaped you. The party seems to be shifting on to the next phase. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Did it pick up my whistling? I'm not sure if I did a whistle there, but yeah, that song. The dancers have now stopped their ecstatic movements and stand still with their outstretched arms facing the ocean. Silence. Complete silence, apart from the monotonous murmur of the waves. Then you can make out another sound. A strange hissing. Another group of amateur actors joins the dancers. Oh, hi! That's a buff frog if I ever seen one. Not really? Oh, okay. They come straight out of the water and wear costumes more suitable for Halloween than a rave party. Greenish scales cover the costumes. Or is it professional makeup? The scaly skin costumes look super real. The muscular, clumsy, and much too long arms in the set of lifelike claws. The heads are a mixture of dumb-looking fish and deadly grizzly. Whoever came up with this mask seriously needs to see a therapist. When the first masked creature reaches the group of dancers, you realize that these guys must have seriously trained for this gig. All of them have bodies you can only get through years of hard physical training and guzzling down loads of steroids. They're also stark naked. You tilt your head involuntarily. Some things on bodies are quite difficult to replicate, even with paper mache or plastic mold. You know this from your own Halloween craft endeavors. It is even more difficult to make these things move and react authentically. It takes a lot of willpower to tear your eyes away from this sight. The dance group seems to welcome the newcomers warmly. They mingle. Each of the custom giants seem to know exactly with whom they went to spend the evening. It doesn't take long, and every party guest is paired up with one of the fish creatures. You stand a little off to the side and watch as they explore each other's bodies. Then they start to... whoa! Okay. This party is definitely X-rated. A brave choice for a tourist entertainment program. While you're still gasping for air indignantly, The couples are already rolling in the sands, groaning with pleasure. Only one of the costume giants has not yet found a partner. His milky eyes fall on you. Uh-oh. He stalks over to you on his long legs. With one of his claws, he points at you, then at himself. Oh, why the hell not? Get over here! Why the hell not? Get over here, you say, and open your arms. What follows is private, and definitely not R-rated. You're fascinated, no, thrilled, with the fish mutant costume. The things you like best are the universal sexual organs, the full lips and long tongue, the soft but deadly claws. I think I like the claws the most. Yeah, okay, whatever that noise was. In particularly passionate moments, you can feel the razor-sharp claws from the fishman costume dig into your skin. Definitely a souvenir to show off at home. It was wild. When the deed is done, you lie on the cool sand in your partner's enveloping embrace. All around you, the other couples do the same. Together, you look up at the green hue of the starry sky. No words are needed. The man in the fish costume only makes hissing and breathing sounds, but you have a deeper connection. This is rare. You feel at ease. Maybe for the first time in your life. Time flies much too fast. The rave party is over. Most of the dancers from Innsmouth start walking back toward the harbor on shaky legs. And so your parting is near to. You try to give him your phone number, but he plays dumb. He snarls and shuffles towards the ocean. Just when you think you have found someone with whom you can live out your animal instincts, the person decides to wordlessly disappear into the sea. Typical. You watch thoughtful as his head disappears between the waves. You're not 100% sure if you used this day to the fullest, considering the reason you actually came here. Neither are you sure who the guy and his friends were, and why they showed up in costumes to an orgy, and well, some other things also remain unclear. With a sigh, you pat the sand off of your clothes and make your way to the hotel. Yeah, I think those things better stay unclear. I don't really want to know what exactly just happened there. I think I'm fine. Thank you very much. Darkness has befallen Innsmouth. Old-fashioned gaslight illuminate a few patches along the dark alleyways, but generally it doesn't look as if the town planners were too fused with the providing adequate lighting. Some streets are completely plunged in darkness. You struggle more and more to find your way around. Was this awful gargoyle already here earlier in the afternoon? Or are you in the wrong part of town altogether? When you're almost about to give up your search, the Gilman Hotel resigned to finding... What? When you're almost about to give up your search for the Gilman Hotel and resign to find a cozy spot somewhere on the curb, you see it. The outline of the hotel roof. Luckily, the hotel is set apart clearly from the mishappen nearby the tenements. The Gilman Hotel is an architectural masterpiece, although right now, the dark you can't make out many of the stylistic features. The hotel majestically rises 4 stories about the rickety house that surrounds it. A sea of leaves glints in the light of the moon. Must be ivy. An empty parking lot makes you think that the hotel must still have some rooms available. You felt like you've been followed for a long time. The growing paranoia and constant glancing over your shoulder. You'll be able to forget all of this very soon. You follow the path leading up to the entrance and come to a standstill in front of the massive oak door. Your hand touches the cold metal handle. You press it down and pull, But to your surprise, the door doesn't open. The hotel seems shut. Just gonna ring the doorbell, I guess. Surely it should be possible to wake up the concierge, the lobby boy, or the underpaid intern. Under a polished brass sign that reads, Best Hotels Competition 1928, First Round Competitor. You find the doorbell. You press down on the button for a second, then again for longer, and then once more for good luck. Wherever this doorbell is ringing, you can't hear its chime out here. You press the button a few more times. By now, some angry personnel should be here to threaten you with physical violence. Nothing. The owner of the hotel is making it very difficult for you to spend your money. I'm gonna knock on the door. Oh, I knocked on the door. Very intense knocking that was. They've asked for this. Hoping to maybe wait. Oh. They have asked for this. Hoping to maybe wake up one of the hotel guests. You pound your fist against the door. Apart from a bit of dust falling off the door frame, your efforts are in vain. You only produce muffled sounds, and you doubt that anyone inside will hear them. It's hard to believe, but the architecture of the hotel seems to be of very high quality. You begin to wonder why anyone would waste their exquisite workmanship on a place like Innsmouth. Forlorn, stand in front of the hotel. I'm gonna be looking for another way in, I guess. You walk around the property. Metal bars in front of the windows make it impossible to simply climb inside. But you had at least hoped to find a lit window which you could knock on to make yourself known to someone inside. They won't even let you give one of the night shift staff a good scare. All the rooms inside the hotel seem to be in complete darkness, including the foyer. No one is working, no one is having a drink at the hotel bar. The whole building seems to be completely shut down. Keep walking around the hotel. You walk around the whole hotel, still hoping to find a lit window somewhere. No such luck. Soon, you're back at the entrance. It's hard to believe such a thing is possible these days, but the hotel really seems closed. No one is allowed in or out for that matter. Do the guests know that they're locked in the building overnight? Well, will there be another gormless tourist in an hour or two, trying to get in just like you are now? Not actually your problem, you remind yourself. You turn around, leave the hotel behind, and walk back to the street. Boring. You wander the streets. The dark clouds spread out from the sea like claws that ominously reach for the town. Reach for you. The sun has set, and the temperature is dripping fast. Yeah, the temperature is dripping. Look at the temperature drip. The sun has set, and the temperature is dropping fast. The air too gets cooler, and the rough winds whips through the alleys. You're lost. You have no idea how to get out of this forsaken town, and as if that weren't bad enough, you also underestimated the September weather on the coast. And the real cold temperature is still yet to come. Scattered raindrops do not bode well. You aimlessly wander the streets. The narrow alleys are a labyrinth of simple wooden fishermen huts. At least you're not completely on your own. Look at that, even at this late hour. There are groups of people out patrolling with torches and pitchforks and knives and nets. It's not necessarily the knives and nets that make you worried. It is simply that many of the villagers have which make you nervous. The people don't walk. They waddle, stagger, stumble, and shuffle, with their upper bodies lifted up like malicious trolls in a fantasy film. You found refuge behind some old barrels in a narrow side street. You would love to simply huddle up here, but in the middle of the alley, you're without protection against the rain. The pitchforked mob still hasn't noticed you. You wonder what to do next. Knock on the door and ask for help. Yes, that's a good idea. Maybe not all the people here are cranky, cold-hearted sicks. Maybe someone will let you spend the night in their house if you ask politely. Maybe pigs can fly. The opposite was never proven. Anyway, the idea of spending the night in the warmth and leaving Innsmouth early tomorrow morning fills you with a new hope. Your hand glides over your wrinkled trench coat, which really needs to be ironed. You're a freelance, so you have enough experience with looking pitiable. You've got a good feeling about this. Since all wooden huts look similarly run down, you simply knock on the next best door in order to escape the rain. The patter of the ever-increasing rain is the only thing you can hear. No steps, no metallic clicking of keys, and no good Samaritan to let you into their house at this dark hour. No one seems to be in. Let's try another door. There's another just over there. Again, you try your luck and knock 3 times quickly. Again, no one lets you in. The difference is that this time, you hear the rustling sound of curtains. In the window next to the door, the curtain sways slightly back and forth until it comes to rest. There was someone. Try to provoke a reaction. Of course! What else would we do here? Leaning your arms against the wooden planks, you try to take a look inside, but it is too dark to see anything or anyone. This is exactly the kind of cowardly attitude that has led this town to poverty and ruin. You hissed at the curtains because somebody must be listening. Good deeds are not separated. Good deeds are what separates everyday heroes from common peasants. Good deeds like giving shelter to poor private detectives and rainy nights. You can't be sure that the occupants of this house has heard even one word of what you just said. Still, you feel a little better now. The creaking sound behind you makes you freeze. The door, right behind you. An old woman is peering out of the house in front of you, which you were shouting. She has cracked open the front and examines you through the round spectacles. She reminds you of an insect. Her voice is rough as sandpaper.
Oh, what do you want?
I need a place to stay for the night, you say honestly. She licks her lips. So, she did hear you. Yes, I guess that was me. You answer truthfully. It's a very urgent call. The woman looks you up and down. You feel assessed and judged. Miss Fati smell? Maybe. Then there's a rattling cough, and judging by the raised corners of her mouth, she may even be laughing.
Well, at least you're honest, kid.
She opens the door a little wider and waves you in.
Okay, come in.
Grateful, you step into the apartment. You try to make out details about the inside of the dark old house. Candles are lined up on the shelves and small side tables. A lot of them are almost burnt down. At least they keep you from running into the furniture. The old woman is probably blind, and that's why she doesn't need lighting in her own home. Only with a lot of effort, you can make out the counters of narrow doors that line the walls of the room. Whoever's responsible for the design of this hut also obviously tried to squeeze as much as possible into the very limited space.
I have a guest bed available.
Do you? What a coincidence.
You can have it if you help me with the gardening, sweetie.
I don't want to bother you. A quick phone call would be quick phone call would do. No, I want to stay here. She seems friendly. Sure, I can help in the garden. The woman is at least 100 years old. You assume the only thing she needs help with is picking some daisies from the grass. She claps her hands.
Perfect. Let's get straight down to work. And afterwards, Ethel will make you a hot tea.
So the name's Ethel. The lively old woman immediately scurries through one of the narrow doors and hastily waves you to follow her. A smile creeps onto her face. You've got a good feeling about this. Trying not to knock anything over, you make your way through the darkness. This place seems less like house and more like an art constellation. You walk through another room that doesn't even have any candles, but a faint source of light leads you further. As you cross the room, you almost trip over a bag lying on the floor. This must be the storage room where the old lady keeps her potato sacks. The bag makes a squeaky sound. Poor harvest, evidently. Kick the sack again! You can't pass an opportunity to take revenge on the defenseless object for your own clumsiness. After a good kick, the bag makes a strange sound. Yeah, the harvest must have been really, really bad. You push the door open a little further and step into a small, dilapidated veranda. It appears that every single one of the small houses in this residential area has its own back garden, which is shielded from neighbors by a high wooden fences. Ethel's garden is well protected from any prying looks. It's also very small. Only a medium-sized paddling pool would have room in here. In summer. But the old woman seems to have her own plans regarding the use of her small garden. Before you graced her with your presence, she was in a process of digging an elongated pit. Given the rain and the hard ground, this could not have been an easy task. She hasn't made a lot of progress. There's a shovel in the heap of earth that is piled up next to the pit. A light brown bag with many stains lies on the other side of the pit in the damp grass. The pit would have to be dug a butt deeper for the bag to fit through.
So?
Ethel claps her hands. You freeze. You hadn't noticed her coming up next to you.
This needs to be buried and starts to sink. This needs to be buried before it starts to sink.
Your hands grab the shaft of the shovel, but then something catches your attention. It's the linen bag. Its contents twists and turns with alarming regularity. What's in the bag? You ask. Even as you ask the question, you doubt whether you will like the answer.
Well, if you really want to know, sweetie.
Ethel leans against the pillar of a porch. The question seems to amuse her.
It's a bunch of rabbit ferrets. They came and dug up almost half of the garden. Most of them I shot to Kingdom Come.
The old woman pretends to aim with a rifle.
But I must not have killed all of them right dead.
The twitching from the linen cloth still has your full attention. It is regular, almost hypnotizing, just like a lava lamp. Chop chop? Is there a human being in there? The story about half-dead ferret seems a bit flimsy to you. Is there a human in there? You ask straight out. Ethel claps her hands on the thighs and lets out the raspy laugh. With sparkling eyes, she looks at you as if she has just discovered a completely new side of you.
Oh, you.
Chop chop! You grab the shovel and get ready to work with your small ditch. That has already been dug. Chop chop. The faster you dig the ominous pit for the splicious bag, the sooner you will be able to sleep. Hopefully without ferret-filled nightmares.
Toot toot!
Ethel does the gesture of a train driver. How nice. Pensioners with such a sunny disposition are rare. The earth is softer than you had anticipated. Instead of rock-hard ground, you dig up soft earth, and quite a few bones. And some dental braces. Do these dental braces belong to you? You ask carefully. Ethel laughs and curls up with amusement. No, silly. Still giggling, the old woman leans back against the veranda. Everything that needed to be said has been said. Bit by bit, you dig the pit further, and soon you've produced a huge pile of earth, which is full of bones. Ethel seems very pleased with your work. Before you know it, the old woman is standing at your side, digging you in the ribs with her elbow.
Well, that was a piece of cake for you, young person like you. Was it, sweetie?
She claps her hands and leads you to the bag, which is now writhing as if possessed by the devil.
Go on, bag in. Bit of dirt on top. The end.
A skinny hand pats you on the back.
I'll put on the kettle.
Ethel returns to her house and leaves you alone with the dug ditch, a twitching line bag, and many questions. You look into the bag. Now that the old woman is gone, you can risk a peek. What is it that's moving there, inside the bag? Is it a human? A drugged person desperately trying to get attention? Or are they actually rabid ferrets? The moment of truth. You sink down into the wet grass. The knot is loose enough that you can undo it quickly. Your heart beats loudly in your chest as you open the bag and try to make out details in the dark. It's ferrets. One ferret jumps right in your face and bites your nose. In order to hold on to you, the animal rams its sharp claws into your skin. Your neck and cheeks burn like fire, but they're only a small note in the garden concerto of pain that's playing into your body. That's playing out on your body. Still in shock, you notice that another ferret has taken the chance to escape. It is now crawling up your head in spiral. You can feel tiny but effective teeth sinking into your scalp. In blind panic, you feel more and more little creatures crawling over your body, and their little teeth and claws are penetrating every patch of skin. She was right. The fortune teller at the fun fair was right. As a small child of only 11 years, you didn't know what to do with the terrible prophecy you were given. Death by ferrets, you always thought it was a metaphor for something. Now you have to admit that the woman with the colorful turban had expressed herself surprisingly clearly. In a futile attempt to escape, you stumble over a dead ferret. The weird angle at which you fall worries you, but the countless ferrets that have bitten into your body prevent you from taking any corrective measures. Your head hits something sharp, and everything goes black. Rabbit ferrets! You got torn to shreds. Life is like a sack of rabbit ferrets. Well, that was fun. We didn't get our life together. Instead, we got killed by ferrets. Yet another end. So that's cool. Right then. But I'ma call it a day here. Let me just put you on the BRB screen real quick. And then end this. Yes, and we're opening some Pokemon cards. Are you all excited for Pokemon cards? Wait, where is my... Where Chrome sounds? Huh, there it is. Why Chrome sounds are quiet. we need a shiny. Yeah, that doesn't happen in this game. I mean, I did catch a shiny Voltorb the other day. Does that count? Do Pokemon Go shinies count? Let's see. Maybe there's a shiny in here, and this is a bit delayed. So let me just let me restart that cam tool as one does when things are shitty. Right. But I hope you guys had fun. Also, thanks for Milo and Seth again for the raids. That was really cool of you guys. Very highly appreciated. I'm gonna mention you in my post-stream summary thingy that I stole from Yusha. So yeah, let's just are you started again yet? Yes, I need to unauto-focus this. And then go here to the card opening. Post-traumatic stress, yes, it's post-traumatic trauma disorder, yes. But yeah, energy guesses. I'm sorry. Energy guesses, anyone, everyone. What do you think the energy will be? Don't forget there's also V-Star cards. But this is not one of them. Garbles goes fighting. Milo goes with hardwoods. I'm guessing that's gonna be grass type energy. Little Saurus goes with all of them. That's a lot of energies though. You can only decide for one. You gotta decide which one you're gonna choose there. I'm gonna go dork type. And I'm just choosing for Little Saurus to say purple, and it is fire. Nobody said fire. We got this cute family of Gastrodon, an Arcphone, a Medicham, Electrike, Murkrow, Shuppet. Wait, what am I waiting for? Wurmple. The Noodle Traitor said fire. Yes, that's true. This is a Penetrator pack then, I guess. So yeah, congratulations, Pastor Imposter. You won, it was a fire. Wurmple, Dynamo, Reverse Hollow Growlithe, very cool. One of my favorite Hisuian forms. And full art, trainer card, shiny, boom! Oh, it is a full art trainer card, just not shiny. It is Erizu, all of our favorite barber, I think. So that's cool. It's a pretty cool card. I like this. That was a good pack. I approve of this pack. Right then. Well, thank you all for being here. We have reached the end of stream. I think I'm gonna keep playing this game, but probably on the YouTubes, because I think that would also be a really cool format for YouTube. Maybe I'll also play it more here, because that's a really cool game, I want to say. And also, if you didn't already join the Discord, there do be a Discord. And I also have a Twitter where I rarely ever post anything. And what else? There's also merch if you want to buy that merch. New merch coming, by the way, probably next month. I got something done that I want to, well, put on merch. That's why we're having new merch. Who is there who would be raidable? Sell for sale is just 37 viewers. Is this accurate? Now it's 44. Okay, are we gonna go to sell? You guys want to see some Stardias? Whatever Stardias might be. Do you like micromanagement? Do you like micromanagement in games? Because that's what's going on there. Garbles goes to bed. Okay. Well, then this is gonna be some pretty good nighttime programming. You can have this running while you sleep, because she's probably gonna stream until like 12 a.m. tomorrow, because that's just what Cell does. But yeah, just stay in for the raid, it would be highly appreciated. It also gives you some extra channel points. I think if you stay with the raid, you get like 400 or 500 points even. So yeah, would be cool if you would do that. And yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Yeah, like I said, I will play this game again, but I think it would work probably better on YouTube, because I don't have to, like, I can just cut out my stumbling and mumbling. That's cool. It's gonna be a more immersive experience, probably. And yeah, it was a really cool game. I liked that there's so many different endings and so many different things to do. Channel points is exactly what you need, I bet. I bet. Garbles is always running out of channel points. But yeah, I guess I'll be here again on Saturday together with Little Saurus for a multi-stream, so that's gonna be cool. And hope you'll all be there for it again, for Labyrinthine, because that game is also really cool and spoopy and fun. But yeah, thank you all for being here, thanks for the raids, and I hope to see you all soon.